Good morning, good day and good evening. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you're doing good on this very fine Friday. Yes, I'm very well aware of the day of the week. How you doing, guys? Hope you're all doing good. First one in today, none other than Jin. Second place we have gamedev, and third we have Ziggler Games. Welcome in, man. Hello from Poland. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. If you don't mind, where in Poland are you from? If you don't mind, of course. T-Bag is in here as well. We got Fuzzlings. Good to see you guys. Soap, yet another Polish gentleman. How you doing? Hadouken, good to see you, man. He's mad chirpy. OG, how you doing? Good to see you, mates. Doxed. Hope all of you are doing well. The plan for today is that we're gonna continue doing a little bit of work on the game. I wanna see if we can polish up this new puzzle of ours a little bit. I actually did quite a bit of work yesterday improving it, and it feels a lot better. So I'm actually to the point of where I do think I want to include this in the full game. Like, we did the prototype for this. I feel like it could be a fun puzzle, but it needs to be a little bit more polished, I believe. Saxidat, good to see you, man. How you doing? So, with the 4-month resub, look at that, you fucking legend. Thank you very much, man. Truly do appreciate ya. I come from southern Poland. Nice. I've been to Poland once. I went to... let's see, where did I go? I was going to go to Krakow, whatever, which I think that's fairly southern in Poland. But I think I ended up going to Katowice instead, and then I went up to Warsaw. I had a good time. I'm cold, how about you? Yeah, it is definitely getting a little bit colder in Sweden now, isn't it? It is definitely getting a bit colder. Nice, yeah, it was a fun trip. I traveled to quite a few countries in like Central Europe, wherever, and I ended the trip by going to Poland, and then I flew home from Warsaw. Had a pretty fun time. Almost missed my flight home, so that was fun. Yeah. You need a little bit of the adventure feeling, you know. I'm a mind reader. Do you like it in these cities? I did. I very much enjoyed my stay. Saw some nice street art and stuff. I don't know. I'm quite the enjoyer of street art, so always fun to see the different like paintings and shit that's out and about in different cities. But yeah, overall I enjoyed it. Warsaw was nice too, obviously a bigger city. To be fair, when I did that travel, I mainly went to capitals because it was just easier, not always. I did go to a few non-capitals. I went to Hamburg in Germany, and then obviously Katowice in Poland, but I enjoyed them. It was nice. So yeah, plan today, like I said, is that we're gonna continue working on this new puzzle. I'm gonna show you what I did yesterday, and then, if we have time, which I think we will, the plan is to maybe continue a little bit with the Grim Fandango playthrough that we started last week? This week? When did we start? No, we started last Friday, didn't we? And then we played it a bit more on Monday. Yeah, I think so. Ecliptic Games Studio, welcome in, man. How you doing? Sorry, no worries, man. Hope you doing good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I think Poland was nice. I wish I knew more Polish. I know very little Polish. I think I probably know more Czech, but I would say... What do I know in Polish? I know like Dzień dobry is like good day or whatever. Yeah. Do widzenia, I think, is goodbye. And then... What else do I know? Na zdrowie is like cheers, I think, or health, or something along those lines. I think it's similar to a lot of languages. It's kind of both. Like it's like when you cheers, you wish people health. That's kind of what they do in Portuguese as well. Saúde literally means health. Well, curva. I mean, you know, obligatory. That one you have to know. And last but not least, I think I started fucking this up, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something along the lines of No, I think it's nie mówię po polsku. Is that how you say it? Nie mówię po polsku. I think. He is native? Absolutely not. Oh, is it gaming stream tonight? Yeah, we're gonna end it off playing a little bit more of a classic point-and-click game. I don't know if you're aware of it, such that, but it's an old LucasArts game, so very like classic point-and-click, called Grim Fandango. Very different to my game, but I've still been enjoying it. It's fun to get like a better idea of what like the classics in this genre did, you know? Yeah, so far I would say that some of the puzzles in the game are definitely a little bit out there. I think it was better last stream, to be honest, but like the first day, I think I had to get used to like the logic in these type of games. Just like I said, sometimes they can be a little bit out there, and yeah, I don't know. It takes some time getting used to that, but overall, I would say like the strongest points, especially with Grim Fandango, is probably the general like writing and the voice acting in the game is actually like fucking high quality, man. Especially for a game that was made in like what, early 2000s or something, I think. Oh, 98. 1998 it was released, and like the voice acting is like proper professional, man. It's like, yeah, that's probably the most impressive thing so far, I would say. Like, obviously the game is, I'm still enjoying the game. But the things that like stand out the most is, I would say, the writing and the voice acting. Yeah, cheers na zdrowie. Jak się masz? Oh yeah, that one I've heard. Is that how are you? No wait, Jack is that not me? Or I? No, Jack się masz. I think that might be how are you. I've heard of that phrase. Nie mówię po polsku. Yeah, that's like I don't speak Polish, right? The first phrase I learn in any language is "feed me, I'm hungry." That's fun. The first one I learn in any language is how to say "I don't speak the language." It's my standard phrase. I think that's the phrase I definitely know in the most amount of languages. I think I can probably say "I don't speak the language" in like at least a handful of random languages. It's a fucking horrible phrase to learn though, because it's contradictory, right? Like whenever I tell someone that phrase, they tend to respond in the language, and it's like, oh wait, like the point was for me to say that I don't understand you. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of funny. Yeah, 98. I'll be around if you get super stuck or something. I posted Grim Fandango credentials in Discord. You did indeed. I saw you had a... do you mind if I show it on stream? Proper Grim Fandango tattoo, eh? Go ahead, let's do it. First and foremost, if anyone hasn't, of course make sure to go and check out Shroud of Gloom on Steam. Demo is out right now. But yeah, Ecliptic posted the other day. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, look at this. That's a proper fan, isn't it? Actually has a Grim Fandango tattoo. Good shit, man. Yeah, it is possible that I could get really stuck, because there has been a few moments. It was definitely worse the first stream. Like I said, I think like half of the things that you need to do in terms of like getting into a game like this is kind of to understand the general logic they tend to use. Yeah, because I don't know, sometimes you go in with like certain preconceived notions about how the puzzles are going to be structured just from like other games you played and stuff, but especially I think early point and click games can use a little bit more of a out there type of logic, and you have to kind of be prepared for that. So sometimes you can't only think of like what seems to be the obvious solution, like you kind of have to go for some long shots sometimes, if you know what I mean. You have to be a bit open-minded with what the solution could be. Oh, Jack is how? Okay. Something ironic with Polish as a Swede is that the way you say yes is almost exactly the way we say thank you. So that can become a little bit confusing as a Swede. Because as far as I'm aware, in Polish, the way you say yes is tak, isn't it? Obviously there might be a slight difference in pronunciation, but I think you spell it differently. You do T-A-K, right? And in Swedish, T-A-C-K, tak, means thank you. Oh yeah, dziękuję, yeah, that one I have heard. Yes, tak, yeah, exactly. Is the game that made me realize I wanna make games? Ooh, nice, man. Do you know why? Just out of curiosity, like, what is it about Grim Fandango that made you go, this is what I want to do? I was briefly in China and I don't speak any Chinese. My friend walked me through everything there. He wrote a small card for me with I don't speak Chinese. It had the complete opposite effect. Oh, really? Yeah, I know very little Chinese as well. I know Chinese is like Zhongwen, but I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation because tones are beyond me. I struggle a lot with tones. I know that do you speak Chinese is something like Zhongwen? Something like that. Obviously ni hao ma. That's the other ones. Xie xie is like thank you, but that's about it. David, welcome in, man. How long have you been making this game? Almost exactly 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year. It originally started as a game jam game, and then I decided to make a full version of it, so been polishing it, building content and stuff for the past year. Just released the demo, plan is to release it early next year, something like that. Your touch is on spot? Yeah, that's the funny thing, because when I have tried to listen to the way that you guys say yes in Polish, it almost sounds on the fucking dot in terms of like how we say thank you in Swedish. Like even the pronunciation is almost the same. Like I said, it might be a slight different in like the vowel sound or something, I don't know, but it's like uncanny similar. Also Ukrainian, that is yes in Ukrainian. Oh, is it? I learned some Ukrainian as well. I know your mayor is like, that's some interjection like, ah shit, something like that. Your mayor. Mam wujka, który bardziej zażmurze się różnymi biznesami i on dobrze mówi po polsku. I have like I don't know how horrible that was. I think I have a like, you know, less than horrible idea of like how you're supposed to pronounce it. Like the SI and the weird E, I think it's like sie or something. I think the thing on the E makes it a ye, if I'm not mistaken. But I have no idea what that means. I mean, polsku is obviously... Mówi po polsku, something about speaking. Dobrze, I think is good. Otherwise, I'm lost. Oh, that's Russian. Yomayo, do you say that in Russian too? What's up, Luasoft? Good to see ya. I only know Lao Shu, which means mouse. Yeah. True, true. I also think that Lao Zu or something, like if you changed it slightly, it means teacher. Lao Zu, Lao Shu, Lao Zu. Like one of those means teacher, one means mouse. Because it's funny, because if you... The reason I remember this is because if you would like accidentally use the wrong tone when you want to address your teacher, you might call him a mouse instead. Which is kind of the reason why I remember it, just that's kind of funny situation. The hardest thing to learn Polish for me was that there is a difference between talking about yourself with a female or male ending. Me as a male learning from females, awkward, yeah. That's somewhat similar to some stuff in like the Romance languages. You have to keep in mind that you might have to use different like conjugations on the adjectives and nouns and stuff, depending on if you're speaking about a woman or a man, or even about objects sometimes, where, you know, they might have gendered objects. So something like table, for example, in Portuguese, mesa is a female noun, right? So then you have to use the female preposition, and if you want to describe it, you need to use the female version of the adjective, stuff like that, which can get a little bit confusing when you're not used to it, but you do learn it eventually. I think the main thing that scares me about Slavic languages is the ones that do all the noun conjugations. We have spoken about this before, but that's one of those things, like, after studying a Romance language, I'm kind of okay with having to learn a bunch of verb conjugations. Because obviously in, like, English, there's some exceptions, but most of the time you use the same verb for everyone. Like, I run, you run, they run, we run, etc. Whereas in languages like the Romance languages, you change the verb depending on who does it, and they also have a bunch of extra conjugations, which is fucking confusing. But with Slavic languages, they even do, some of them at least. I know Bulgarian, we learned before, did not do this, but I know a lot of Slavic languages actually even change the nouns depending on context. So in Czech, for example, the name of the capital, Prague, in Czech is Praha. But depending on the context of how you speak about it, you might have to conjugate the noun differently. So like if you're saying from Prague, it might be like from Prahy. And if you're going to Prague, it might be like Praze. I'm probably mixing up the actual conjugations here, but you get the general gist. And that like blows my mind. Like so much extra words to learn, you know? Codin, how you doing? Welcome in, man. Bem-vindo. And Captain Salty Dog as well. Good to see you, man. I saw you, I watched your VOD playing the demo last night. It was very fun to watch you play it. I hope you did enjoy it, man. Shout out to Salty Dog. Yet another streamer on twitch.tv. As I said, he did play the Shroud of Gloom demo yesterday, so go and check him out, people. He's a cool guy. In Poland, in Warsaw, there's also a district called Praga. Oh, is it? Those pronunciations were ultra crazy. My friend speaks good Chinese, but it all depends on the place we actually were in. In provinces, neither of us could understand anything. Yeah, just you also have like different Chinese languages, right? Like Mandarin Chinese, the typical one you hear about, is only one of them. You also have like Sichuan Chinese, you have like Cantonese. So depending on where you are, they might not even speak Mandarin. I think a lot of regions in, like, I think Mandarin is kind of the lingua franca of China. So, like, if you're gonna make a bet, it's, you know, there's a good chance that they might also know Mandarin, kind of the way English, you know, English is like a lingua franca in the West and across a lot of the world, to be honest. And I think Mandarin Chinese is a little bit like that in China. Take it with a grain of salt, obviously I don't know too much here, but that's the impression I have at least. Loved it, cheers man. My one friend in China told me there's 3 variants of Chinese, one of them being very regionally specific. Yeah, I think Cantonese, for example, is almost exclusively spoken in Hong Kong, Macau and Taiwan. And then, like, most of mainland China, would speak Mandarin, but you also have like Sichuan Chinese, whatever, which I think that is a regional one as well. And of course you have yeah, I was just gonna say, Faslins, of course you have like just general accent as well, as in like, you know, you might, even in the same language, speak with different accents depending on which city or region you're from. Most Slavic languages have a similar system, yeah. Pradia, Zepradi, Vepradze. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, it kind of blows my mind, because I know in Slavic languages you also do the verb conjugations. So not only would I have to learn all of the extra verb conjugations that you use, but then on top of that, I have to, like, get my mind around doing the noun conjugations, which is, like, when it comes to Slavic languages, that's, like, the main thing that scares me. It just seems like, damn, it's gonna be so much, like, conjugations to learn. I assume that a lot of the time there's probably, like, some convention. There might be, like, exceptions and stuff, but a lot of the time you can probably find a pattern, I assume. But, yeah, that's definitely one of the things that scares me a little bit about Slavic languages. Whereas with a lot of Asian ones, I would say it's tonal languages, like, you know, Vietnamese, Thai, and Chinese and stuff have like all of their different tones, which if you fuck up the tone, you might say something completely different. But I think this is also one of those things you just have to get used to. Like, if I actually tried to study a Slavic language or a tonal language, you know, you probably get used to it after a while, but it definitely adds another challenge on top. Harry Cat, welcome in. It's Language Friday. Yeah, you know this happens every now and again. I'm a little bit too much of a language nerd, so if we do start speaking about languages, I can get a little bit excited. How you doing, Harry Cat? Yeah, there's even inter-Slavic. There's a trace. That is crazy. It's understandable to most Slavic languages. Yeah, is that like a con language? Like a constructed language? Because there's also interlingua, which is a constructed language for, like, based on the Romance languages. Usually, like, simplifying stuff and making it easier for everyone to understand. Obviously, the hard thing about constructed languages is actually getting speakers. Like, it's hard to get a lot of people to actually invest into learning them. I think the most popular one is Esperanto, right? Which is also, I think, mainly built on Romance languages. I think it has like 80% vocabulary from Romance languages and a bit from Slavic languages and a bit from Germanic. I think the majority of vocabulary is taken from Romance languages, but then they like simplify conjugations and rules and stuff like that to make it as simple as possible to learn. Like, that's obvious. Like, most of the time that seems to be the like the advantage of a constructed language, which for anyone who doesn't know, obviously is a like not a organically made language. Like, it's something that someone sat down and went, I'm gonna make my own language. And like, obviously one of the advantages with that is that you can get rid of a lot of like exceptional rules and stuff and make it really straightforward, so it becomes a lot easier to learn. But then, obviously, the issue is that it's just hard at getting people to actually learn it. Like, the idea on paper is really good, but I don't know, like, how many speakers... I think Esperanto is the biggest constructed language. I wonder how many actually speak it. Yeah, it has... The first number I see is around 100,000. And this is the most successful constructed language. Perfect example of saying the same thing but not in English is pop soda coke. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even counting Dwadvie, never understood the difference. It sounds dumb, but I wanted to give the same feeling I got when I played Grim Fandango to other people. It was the most adult game I had played at that point, made me see the versatility of games as a medium. Interesting. I think that is probably something a lot of people can relate to. Like, I often think... I wouldn't be surprised if it often has more to do with that kind of like... just the general feeling that a game gave you, rather than like... something direct physical from the game itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, the reason most of the time I think that we, like, remember a specific game fondly, I think is more emotional than, like, you know, logical or whatever. Like, I think what actually gives us the nostalgia is, like, the way the game made us feel. Does that make sense? My British wife says the grammatical genders in Polish are the most complicated thing to grasp. Hey yo, welcome in, how you doing? Klingon, yeah, that is another constructed language, which you can learn on Duolingo. Oh, estimated 20 to 30 fluent speakers. Now I make a game to sell it to Microsoft for a few billions. Do you know this language? No. Bliv. That's 5 consonants in a row. Holy shit. Sindarin? Dwa patyki, dwie kobiety. No idea. I mean, this is two something, but I assume it's gendered or something like that. Oh, it's Klingon. Greetings, I hope you're doing well today. Oh, interesting. Exactly. Okay, should we take a look at what I did yesterday? So, as some of you are aware, we started making a new puzzle. It's still a placeholder, it's not going to be in this room, so it's going to look a bit weird. Because I've assigned the chest here to open this puzzle, which doesn't make sense, but obviously that's going to be fixed later on. We're going to put this somewhere else. But we basically started making this, what do we call it? Like a water valve puzzle of sorts. Be right back, Lurk, no worries, Crodinho. Thank you for lurking, man. And I actually did some major changes yesterday. No Jewel, welcome in, how you doing? So, before this looked a lot more simple. Now I tried to make it so that we can actually visualize how the water is flowing. And then I changed this to red, which shows like which valves are connected to which ones. So basically that means that like if I turn this one, I'm also gonna turn this one. That's kind of what creates the puzzle aspect of it. However, there still are a few things. I feel like we could make... I don't know if it maybe would look better to make this a darker gray. Because it gets a little bit hard to read. Because there's so many like white lines going around here on the pipes themselves. So maybe if we had like the light gray color specifically for this, that could make it a bit easier to read, potentially. The other thing I would like to do is to make it actually... Like right now, if I would turn this one, it just fades all of this out, right? So now it stops here. But I think it would be nice to make it so that it actually fills up gradually. So that when I turn this one now, it's gonna go upwards. Then like maybe we fill this one, then we fill this one. Then we fill this, then we fill this. Do you know what I mean? Because right now when I turn this, all of these are going to fade in at the same time. Which makes it feel a little bit less like water. Because you would expect it to gradually fill up. I think when you switch this, I think it's fine to probably fade them all out at the same time. But whatever we fill in, I think we should do gradually. And this is... I actually went a little bit crazy here, in case you're curious about how we actually made this work. I decided to go for some recursion here. And it did go a little bit crazy. So basically every valve, to make this possible, every valve has a reference to all of its connections to like the left, up and right and so on. And which water objects it's connected to, so it knows what to enable if I turn it that way. And then I made the master class, like the manager for this, that basically uses recursion to loop through the entire thing. So whenever you turn a water valve, it's going to recalculate the water, which sets all water to false. It doesn't actually disable the water, it just changes the bool. And then it says all the valves do not have water, and then it recalculates from the entry valve. It uses recursion with a depth of 100, just so we can't get an infinite loop. And it's going to set the first one to has water, yes. It's going to flow to the next target, which means that this one is gonna find the water and enable that. And then if we have a new target, we basically do the same thing and we pass that in, calculate water with the new target. So we're gonna basically recursion, we're gonna do this loop over and over again until we no longer have a target, because that means if we don't have a target, that means this one is turned like to the right, you know, and in that case we should just stop it. Whereas I also had to do a check in case you made a loop. So if the new target already has water, that means we've already gone through it, then we should also stop, because otherwise, if you manage to create a loop, which is fairly simple, it's gonna go around infinite and we're gonna crash the game, basically. So far, I don't know if this is the best way of doing it, but it seems to work fairly well. That's a bit broken. Anyway, can we make a loop here, just to explain this? Can make you go up, you go here. So like this would have been a loop, right? And if I didn't have that check in case this one or this one already has water, then it could have gone around for ages and crashed the game. But overall, this seems functional. I still need to make something that checks whether or not you have won, which is basically, I think that's going to be fairly easy. On this last one, we can basically just say, if this water pipe is ever filled, that means you completed it. And then we should probably set everything to uninteractable so you can't uncomplete it. But I think the first thing I would like to do is just make the animation a little bit better. Because especially here, when you fade in like the entire thing at once, it feels a little bit weird. I feel like it would look nice if you could actually follow the water, see how it gets filled in. But that becomes a bit weird, because then if I do this and then turn this, we don't want to start filling from here, right? So the ones that already are enabled, we should leave. But everything that was just enabled, we should like fill in gradually. That's kind of the plan. I think that would look a lot better. And potentially make them darker as well. I think that could be nice. Just to get a little bit more separation from like the outlines of the pipes. I'm gonna lurk a bit, don't wanna spoil too much for myself. No worries, chat, and thank you very much for lurking, man. Appreciate ya. The white line indicating the flow, I first did not recognize, to be honest. Yeah, I think it is a little bit... I mean, it's definitely better than not having it, but I do think it's still like a little bit too hard to read, so we need to figure out if we can do something to improve that. Bluish gray, like a tint, add in a new color. I don't know if I want to add a new color. As you know me, I am very hesitant to increasing the palette, because I don't want to add a color that I only use in one specific place. Because we want to have some consistency. So if I add a color here, that kind of means I have to add that color everywhere. So now like everything that's water, I suppose, the rain and stuff would have to use that blue tone as well. And I'm not sure if I want to do that. You have interesting graphics, thank you very much, man. Do you also feel like I do, that if I don't do enough in the project, as much as I planned, or I do quite easy things, you don't appreciate it? Wait, so if I don't do enough in the project, as much as I planned, I do quite easy things, you don't appreciate it. Maybe to some extent. I don't want to be that guy, but it looks completely as electricity, not water. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm scared of, that, and I agree. And I think, in some regard, that if it would flow through, maybe even with a little bit of a sound effect, like a little splash sound effect each time, I think that could help to sell that these are like water pipes. Because I think especially now, with these kind of looking like wires, and the fact that it all enables at the same time, it gets a little bit more of an electrical feeling, which we don't want, because I already have a electricity puzzle. But I also think that we do need to visualize the connections, and I don't really know how else to do it. Because if we just got rid of these red lines, then it got very unintuitive to like understand what is connected, if that makes sense. Something we could do as well is actually to increase the width of the water display or whatever. Like, we could make this 3 pixels and put the outline here. But then I would have to push this 1 pixel out. That could work. We should take a quick look, see how what that would look like. Like, basically, we could have done something like this instead, like actually having all of this be the pipe. Maybe move the red line one and then do a little outline here. I think if we added sound effects, it would probably become a lot more intuitive as well. This feels a little bit less consistent with like the general art style, but it could potentially make it easier to read. I'm gonna consider that at least. But I think if we did a little, I think I have some water sound effects, don't I? But I think those are all too long. But if we did a little like, each time we fill in a step, if you had a little like psh, psh, like water sound kind of going, I feel like that could help sell it. You're going to make the line art gray, right? Because low-key it's blending. Which line art do you mean, Ayo? I'm currently thinking about making this into the light gray color. Basically this one instead. Because that one is almost not used anywhere except for the arrows, I suppose. I think that could maybe help. Because I think one of the reasons why it becomes a bit difficult to read right now is the fact that this has the same color as all of the outlines. So basically it would look like... look like that instead. And then obviously the unfilled ones would be black. Like, it feels like this could actually help in terms of like separating it from the other stuff that's going on. Obviously the color itself doesn't pop as much, but I don't know if the right decision would be to... I don't know about making this gray instead and then doing white there. I feel like... most of the time these like clear objects, I do tend to use the white outline. Brainard Games, welcome in, man. Water bubbles flowing through the pipes, we could do that. We'd have to make sure that those only are enabled when the water is on. But we could maybe do some little particle effect flowing. That is a good shout. Also played about 50 games, but I didn't finish any of them. That's what I thought yesterday about Wise. I thought it was electricity. Yeah, I think we definitely at the moment have a problem where this could be read as electricity, which isn't too crazy. Because the puzzle that I used to inspire this was actually a electricity puzzle in another game. I decided to like retheme it into water valves. And I think these ones fuck it up the most, because this very much feels like wires that are connected. Obviously this isn't like a fully realistic puzzle, like why would you connect the water valves like this? But the thing is that I don't know how else, because we need to visualize which valves are connected. And I don't really know another way of doing that except drawing a line in between them, but that does have the issue of potentially being read as a wire. Let me see, if we take the water, we take all of these, because this is, yeah, I should be able to change this. What if we made this more similar to the light gray color? Let me see what that would feel like. I also think, like I said, I think a lot of stuff we can easily explain with sound effects. So, partly we have like the valves. That sounds more like something. That sounds more like a metal valve, which you wouldn't really use for electricity. And if you use that, but you also had a little like psh, 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 like water sound effect when this fills in, I think that could help and explain it. Why? Oh wait, this turned white again. Oh, I know why. Because that color is coded, isn't it? So what I actually need to do is to get the numbers of this gray. And then we need to change here. Filled color needs to be this. That's how we change it. I forgot I set the color programmatically. But I think that's the case, to be honest. I think it's about the water should flow, but maybe changing visuals of those knobs to be more like valve would help. Yeah, potentially. Thing is, like, how would we? Because we do need an arrow, right? Like a valve is usually like a little steering wheel type thing. Or you have, this is what I was thinking first. You do have these as well, but I don't think this would read as well, since this has multiple. Like, this one technically only has 2 directions, right? It's either closed or it's open, whereas we have 4. So I guess you could do one like this with an arrow on one of these. Because difficult thing with something like this is, how do I display the direction? How do I make something like this show the direction that it's flowing? Amesis with the raid, welcome in, man. We are studying plumbing here, that's what we're doing. Still working on my new little water valve puzzle here. So far so good. How you doing, Amesis? I saw you were working a bit on the menu UI for your game. If anyone does not know the one and only Amesis, definitely go and check him out. Currently working on his game Shadows of Tuonela. This is a game inspired by classic RuneScape, Don't Starve, with a theme of the Finnish Purgatory. Good stuff. Go and check it out, people. Support our fellow developers. If anyone coming in does not know of me, I go by Madchirpy and I'm working on this point-and-click horror game called Shroud of Gloom, which you can play the demo of right as we speak. Here's a little teaser for ya. There we have it. Thank you very much for the raid, Amises. It's smart to pivot into manual labor considering how the game dev industry is. Making a new Mario game, researching plumbing, exactly. But if those round blue and arrow inside, yeah, I suppose that could work. Trying to make the valves look like this, and then basically instead of the little mutter that you have here in the middle, basically instead of this mutter, we do a little arrow on the inside. That could actually work to help make it look more like a water valve. Bolt? No, nuts. No, you call it nuts, don't you? A nut and a bolt, I think. Is this a nut in English? Mutteri in Finnish. Mave in German. Oh, do you say mutteri in Finnish? Oh yeah, that's basically the same. Yeah, we call this a mutter. So you have the skruv here, you have the mutter here, and then you have the little handtag or whatever, like handle. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think that could work. Let's try it. It's possible I'm gonna have to increase the sprite size a little bit, but let me see first how this new gray color looks. Why did this not get filled in? Do we have some bug there? Did you see how this part was not filled in at first? Now it looks fine. Yeah, I also think a big thing that would help this would be to make this actually flow, rather than having like everything fade in at once. Because I think that gives you more of an impression of electricity as well. If we instead had it actually fill in successively, that is gonna be a tiny little refactor. Because right now I just change a bool on all of the like water pipes and say that you have water when I loop through, and then I just enable all of them, so I don't have a way of knowing which ones should be enabled first, so it goes in the correct order. But that's fairly easy. I think we should just do something where we maybe make a list. Okay, if we wanted these to look a bit more like that, what should I do? I don't know if that does it. I don't know if that's enough. It might help. I might have to make the entire thing a bit bigger. Yeah, I'm not sure this still reads properly like a valve of this sort. Maybe we do... What if I just did one? What if I did this? How would that look? It's a bit annoying that it fades into the outlines here. I could also do something like this, but that might be weird. Don't think that's gonna read well. Because I don't know how big I would like to make these either. Like, I don't know if we can, like, if we double the size, it's probably gonna look a bit weird. How big is the sprite? Currently the sprite has a buffer of 2 pixels, so this is the size of the actual sprite at the moment. Of course I can make that bigger. In German it's Mutter, which means mother. Interesting. Rammstein is teaching me things. I think so far I kinda like this one the most. It doesn't read perfectly, but... I guess what if I mixed it up and did that one as well? But that's a bit inconsistent. Like, why would this be bigger than that? Do you know what I mean? And now it doesn't look round. Now it kinda looks squared in some regard. And I'll try and draw here, that's gonna make it into a full-on square. Oh, the good thing about doing that is that now I could add just one pixel all around it. It does look a little bit messy though. I think I might have to increase the size of the sprite to get this to work. If I wanted to read properly. Could also be a little bit fancy, maybe do a... What if we did a circle inside of this one? In a darker grey. That's barely gonna be visible. I could turn the arrow into white and then do lighter grey around here. But that almost makes the arrow a bit hard to read instead. It is a bit tricky. I wonder if we should try and get the flow to work first, maybe add a little sound effect, and then we'll see. Did I try only adding these? Doesn't really do it either. Okay, what if I go boom boom, boom boom? Nah. Nah, that's not gonna work. I mean, it kinda feels closer to the shape. It does look a little bit like an insect or something, but... It's kinda closer to the shape of one of those handles. Maybe? I don't know, any thoughts? Oh no, the gray on the inside gets highlighted. That makes it really hard to read. I don't think I can do this. Yeah. Let's see if we can sort out the flow. I think that might be the biggest thing, especially if we get a little sound effect. Let me see what water sound effects I have. Assets, project, audio, new sound effects. I know I have something in here. Do I not? I have the flushing noise, but that's not gonna be right. Unless we could cut up the flushing sound effect. Maybe if you added enough of a effect on it, you could do... but no, it sounds different, because that sounds open. This needs to sound like a closed circuit that does get filled up, if you know what I mean. Was that obviously sounds like it's water flowing in the open air or whatever. We'll say we might just find a Creative Commons 0 sound effect for now. Low pass filter could work, that is a good shout. I don't think it fulfills the purpose, it's too small of a change to do so. Yeah, the thing is that we're on such a limited canvas, right? Like, getting these small details in can be really tricky. Maybe the filling method is the way to go. Yeah, I think no matter what, we have to do that. The annoying thing here now is that the water valve, when you flow to target, all you actually do is set water to true. What if I let the manager do this? What if we instead... Or we actually give the water a index? But how? No, this one doesn't know the index. Like which order this was, unless we would pass that in here. Because somehow we need to toggle water. Someone just goes through and enables all of them. That's what we do when we finish. Flow to targets. I could make... You know, I could make this return a water pipe. Or rather an array of water pipes. And then this one can successively add that to a list so we get it in the correct order. And then once we are finished, we can, when we toggle the water, we can turn this into like an I enumerator. And we go through it in order with a little bit of a delay in between each one. And then we also play a little sound effect. That feels like it could work. Like, what if we made a water valve, another water valve pipe? Let's actually turn this into a list. A list should be better for this. Do I not have list here? A list of water valve pipes. Then we call this current pipes or something. And then recalculate water. We're gonna do all of this. But we're gonna start off by making sure that the current pipes are cleared every time you recalculate.
Cheers.
Cheers, Ayo. Has water true?
Time to stretch.
Good shout. I think returning the pipes could be the way to go.
RE14 is forcing you to stand up for 10 minutes.
Let's do it. You know it's coming. I think that could work. We are gonna need to null check it. So it is going to change a little bit here. But I think it could work. Like, rather than flow to target, what we're gonna do here is like get target pipes. And this is gonna turn into a water valve pipe. I guess it's easier to make this into a list. Because then... I mean, this is going to be an array. So I could just return the array. Can I add array elements to a list? That should be fairly easy, yeah. So let's do water valve pipe array. For each variable connection in connections. Target, if that is this, then target pipes equals connection pipes. And then here I set water to true. I think I'm gonna be able to remove this. I don't think we're gonna need that anymore. So then here what we can do is to just return the target pipes. And then if we don't find it, then we return null. This is null. You know what? I could just do this. We can always return this, and then what we do here is say that target pipes equals connection.pipes. So now this could be null, and it could be the ones we found. Now, current has water, true. Water valve new target, current get target. I guess we can do something like water valve pipe array pipes equals get target pipes, and then we check if the pipes are not null, then we want to add these to the current pipes dot add. So now my question is, what can I do with add range? That's the one that adds multiple, right? Enumerable. Can I pause in the array here? Can I do this? That does seem to work. I am gonna need to make sure that these are always in the correct order. Proper wrist exercises? True, I do need. My hands have actually been better. I think partly just because I haven't been streaming working as long days now. I think I did go a little bit overboard before. I still do sometimes, let's be honest. But I am trying to take a little bit better care of these little hands of mine. Add range pipes. I feel like that should work. And then when we toggle water... Oh, this checks whether you have water or not. But I don't really need to do that, because now if you're in this array, I know that you should be enabled. It would be good to know if there's already water in this though. But that I should just check what the current color is, to be fair. Maybe I want to keep this bowl. Total water. I do think we want to make this into a... I think I might make an I enumerator instead. And then do a loop inside of the I enumerator with a conditional delay and sound effects. So, private I enumerator. I don't know, start a flow. We would say something like, I guess we can do it for each water pipe in water pipes. I wonder what happens if you start spamming now. That could cause an issue. Maybe we don't do it immediately either. Maybe we always do one little yield return new wait 4 seconds. Maybe we wait like 0.4 seconds or some shit. And then for each pipe in, not in water pipes, in current pipes, we say current pipe wait, it's gonna add the first one that's gonna be at the top. So yeah, I shouldn't need an index here. We can just say, not Pope, that's not what we're doing yet. We can toggle the water. But this is where I kinda need to check if this is already filled or not. So maybe we refactored this a little bit by not changing about whether or not you have water. Oh, I could pass this in. I could pass that in. Whenever I disable them, I just pass in false. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need a list of the ones to deactivate as well. Yeah. It's gonna be a few things we need to do, yeah? Get the target pipes. You just return the array. No, but how do I know if this one is already filled? Especially since when I recalculate them, I'm gonna set all to false. But I don't think I need to do that anymore. Thank you for lurking, Teabag. Recursion with timed async delays? No. No, the recursion is only when I loop through them. As soon as I do this, this only triggers once we are done with the recursion. So technically not. Okay, ads should start any second. I'm gonna take a short break, but I'll be back in just a minute. Appreciate your patience as always. Basically, the recursion is only used to find the path we go in, and once we are done with that path, that's when we start this one. Yeah, we'll see. This is gonna be... I'm gonna have to make sure we don't fuck this up. But let me just take a short break. I'll be back in just a moment or two. Appreciate ya. And we are back. Sorry guys, did take a little bit longer, but I appreciate your patience as always. Cameron, Mad Cameron, yeah. Good one, eh? Welcome back, Mad Cameron. Ah, shit. Okay, how do we want to do this, people? We want the pipes to get filled in successively. But that means I need a way to check whether the pipes have, like, whether they are filled at this very moment. I should check for the color. We should even make a function, actually, to check that. We should have a public bool is pipe filled, which just returns whether or not the image, we should calculate this, if the color is equal to the filled color. Now we can say if pipe is pipe filled. If that is not the case, if this pipe is not filled, then we want to... Why can't I trigger total water? Oh, just need to pass in the bool now. Just, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna use this bool anymore. I don't think so. And then we want a little... we want to fill this and then do a little wait before the next one. So, yield return new, wait 4 seconds. We're gonna wait like 0.3 seconds or something. We're just gonna try and see whether or not it works. We're gonna pass in true here. We're gonna skip the first ones if they are filled and then successively fill these in. This is also where we wanna play a little sound effect. I could actually have this one. Play the sound effect. Then it will be played locally or whatever. So when we do color, we say audio player play. I don't want to add this as a reference to each pipe. That feels odd. You're probably gonna hate me, but the best way in my opinion would be for the graphics to change gradually. Like not only stage by stage, but also like a slider. I think so too. That one is definitely trickier because I need some way to know the direction, right? Since that can change. Like on each pipe, it could be filled from left to right or right to left. It would definitely look better, but definitely add some complexity. I think I'm gonna try this first and see how it looks. And then we'll see. It is possible we need to do something like that, but it's definitely gonna be a bit more challenging. I should do a slider, and the things that, yeah, I need to actually... I need some way to... set the direction. I guess the valves should do that, since they will know when they add the pipes to the array. That means that this valve wants to push water into that one. So that does give me a way of figuring out the direction. So it should be possible. It's definitely a bit more work, but it is possible. Initiative, welcome in, man. How you doing? Maybe add a dotted line over the pipe as an indicator. In what sense do you mean to... Like that the fill color would be a dotted line? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean that just the art itself, like this would be dotted by default? Audio player, play. How do I find a good sound effect for this? You know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna play it from here. Let's be lazy. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go back into the valve puzzle, and then when we toggle it, we're just gonna play the sound effect here. Audio player dot play. We're gonna call this something like water sound effect. Oh wait, I have a reference to the pipe. So wait. I can do this. Delay 0 seconds. Volume full. Pitch full. Vector 3 position is going to be pipe dot transform dot position. And then obviously we need to have the sound effect for this, so we're gonna have a serialized sound effect called water sound effect. Wait, why is Ron here? Private enumerator requires one type argument. I know here that I'm gonna need to... Here we will need to do something like start coroutine, start the flow, boom. But why is that showing me... I do have the namespace. Yeah, to indicate the flow direction over the existing assets. Yeah, that could have worked. The only thing is that we would still need to... I still need to figure out the direction, right? Since that can change. Like even the same pipe can be filled from 2 different ways. I guess I should do... I should have separate objects for it, to be fair. Or I just do a slider where I can pass in left to right, right to left. Yeah, we might have to do something like that. Let me try doing just the fade in successively and see how it looks. It's probably going to be a little bit off, but I wanna at least get an idea of what it would look like. Oh, I used the wrong one. I see. enumerator, start the flow, go through, do that. The thing is that I still need to disable the other ones. Now we just call toggle water. I could make a list of the ones that are supposed to not be filled as well. Is what do I do now? When we recalculate water, clear the current pipes, that's just a list. We clear the list of the pipes, and then for each water in water pipes, we set water false. That just changes the bool. So maybe I keep using this one. Toggle water, because now I pause this in here. So I could make this fairly simple and just say that has water is equal to has water. But no, this is still an issue, because this is gonna override it beforehand. And that's not gonna work. I might just not do this. I could also do something where set water false. What if I instead, when I loop through this, what if I start for each variable pipe in current pipes? I could check which ones, since I know which ones are supposed to be filled, I could compare that to find which ones are supposed to be emptied. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's the best way of doing it. Or, wait. What if toggle water is the only one that ever changes whether the pipe has water? And when you try to set... No, that's not gonna work. How do I disable the other ones correctly here?
Hello.
What's up, Strom? How you doing? Welcome in, man. Morning. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're having a good Friday so far. Do I have any errors right now? Let's just see what happens here. I think the issue is that now there's no way for me to... I don't think I'm ever gonna unfill them. Or we're gonna cause an issue here. Current pipes dot clear. Oh, wait. Are you null? Is that what's happening? Yeah. Okay, but then wait. We just initialized this correctly. So in a wait, we're going to say that current pipes equals new lists. We just leave it empty. I think that's what I need to do. I'm gonna start watching some other dev channels and we are all like a small family, true. One of the things I like about Twitch in general is that it does tend to have a little bit more of a tight-knit community. Sometimes like compared to a platform like YouTube. Yeah, so now the issue is that we can't unfill this. Like now everything should be unfilled. I guess I could change this and actually keep two lists and move the pipes in between them, whether they are supposed to be filled or not. You know what, fine, I'm just gonna do something that works now and then we can fix it later. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make a private void, empty, clear pipes. Where I am just gonna loop through the current... No. For each pipe in water pipes, we're gonna go through all pipes, and then we just check if this one, if current pipe contains this pipe. If it doesn't contain this pipe, that means we should not have water in this pipe. Not the fanciest way, but it should work. In that case, I want to say pipe dot toggle water false. So why do I need to save the bool now? There shouldn't be any reason. I don't think I need that bool anymore. Because I'm never gonna call set pipe again. Yeah, so I should be able to remove that. Wait, I need to call this function. Ironic how often I forget to actually just call the function. So when we want to toggle the water, we are going to... Maybe we should be more specific here. We are going to clear unused pipes or whatever. And then we start the flow through the new route, where we're gonna check if the pipe is already filled, we don't do anything, we're gonna skip that until we find the first one that hasn't been filled. Then we are going to fill that one up and play a little sound effect, and then wait, fill the next one up, etc. I probably fucked up the order on some of these, since it's gonna use the order that it gets from the actual valves. Ooh. What happened here? Oh, if I take this down, then current pipes is gonna be null. Right. I also realized that the entry pipe actually ended up being disabled, so toggle water. Since we do that in all of these now, we can check here. I already have a bool for whether or not this is the entry pipe. So I'm just gonna toggle water. You know what? If this is the entry pipe, then I would like to just return, don't do anything. That one should always have water. And then that means that we actually do need to do a check here. Whenever we want to start the flow, that should still be fine. But here we can say something like if we don't have any pipes, then I would like to yield break, I think. Hamster hammer and Tammer the hammer. What's the chance of you guys coming in at the same time? Welcome in, guys. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that is for sure, especially in the game dev category. I saw familiar faces in the multiple different streams. Yeah. Hope you're doing good, guys. Hope you're having a good Friday so far. We're still working a little bit here on the new puzzle. Gonna play a bit more Grim Fandango later, is the plan. Might start in like an hour or something, I think. Okay. So this shows up correctly. What happens if I turn you? Okay. So that does actually fill in. Let's see how this sounds if we had a little sound effect. We're gonna have a quick look at free sound. I'm gonna search for something like, maybe, can I search water pipe? And then we're gonna go for Creative Commons 0. Water from pipe, that's probably not what I want. It could almost work. It could cut out a little short thing. This looks like it's gonna be loud. I hate I can't like change the volume here. Let me do this just for safety measure. It's not really the sound I want. Water draining? No. Windmill blades? Nope. Water pipe. Wakacha, welcome in. It's always better to hamster the hammer than to hammer the hamster. Great, by the way, my game is about 2 hamsters, so that is personal. Oh damn, look at that. I love freesound.org. Yeah, you can actually find a lot of good stuff here. There's definitely a bit of like lower quality stuff as well you might have to skim through, but the thing is that we kind of need this to be a bit continuous. Oh, what I could do is to fade it in and out. That could maybe work. It's still a little bit open, but I do suppose that we could maybe try a low pause on it or something. Yeah, because that is... This sounds open. Yeah, it should be inside the pipe, which this isn't. This is probably more correct. But I don't know how clearly that sounds like water instead. Like, you kind of want to find something that sounds like water, but still sounds contained. I'm pretty sure that low pause would be enough. I can do low pause in Audacity, right? What would that be? EQ and filters. Low pass filter. Should we try it? Let's try it. Let's see, I think I need to log in here to be able to download. Log in. Give me just a second. Let's see what happens if we throw a little low pass on that one. Oh, the line breaks? Okay, let me see what this is. I can just copy the message. Hacking the mainframe. Oh, copper water. Wait, is this just a search? Wait, let me just close out of this. Boom, 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 boom. And we're back. Copper water pipe. I think it would be good if it was a more clear water sound. Falun? That's in Sweden.
title.
Let's see what happens if we throw a low pass on this one. It's gonna need to be quite short. It's gonna have to be even shorter. Maybe something like that. And we can add a little bit of pitch variety or whatever to it as well. Then maybe do a little fade in. Little fade out. Why does it look like this? Okay, and then what if we throw some low pass on this? Yeah? Okay, so we're gonna do a low pass filter. I have no idea of the values here. Let's try that. That's not too shabby. What happens if we did even more? You can preview it? Oh wait, can I? Oh, I can. True. Okay, so what if we... What do I want to do? Change the frequency? Roll off decibels per octave. Do I want to change the frequency up or down? Okay, down makes it sound... I almost feel like that should work. And then a little bit of pitch variety on it. You want falling water in the pipe then? Well, it should be water pressure, so not just like natural flow. I want to pee for some reason. Let's try this. Just to get an idea. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can always change stuff later on if we need to. What is the... excuse me? What did I do? Am I too zoomed out? What's happening? Where's my thingy? It's probably a little bit low now. This might not be great, but let's see if I could boost this a little bit. Sure, fuck it. Let's try this and see what happens. Export. Let's see, sound effect, Creative Commons. I'm gonna call this water pipe, sure. Export. Let's keep this one open for now. Okay, water sound effect, we need to create that one, so we're gonna go in here. Duplicate one of these, we're gonna rename this into water pipe. I do have water stream, but that is an open sound, so I don't think that's gonna work. Let's do maybe 7% pitch variation or something. And then now I think I might have to lower the volume a little bit. Let's go like 0.7. I think that should work. Slow the tempo a little, maybe. The thing is that it is going to fill fairly quickly. Water pressure would be the pipes making noise, but I get what you want. Yeah, I do think, like I said before, we played one sound effect that I think actually gives the right sound. The issue is that I need to explain that this is water, and technically, like, the sound the pipe makes doesn't convey water as well. Sound effect is null. Oh, did I forget to assign it? Water pipe. Let me pause the music. I think they are overlapping. And I think maybe they are still a bit loud. It sounds like they are overlapping. We might have to cut it shorter. I don't know if I would like to make it slower. It can't be too slow. Okay, wait. Wait, I can check how long this sound effect is. Oh yeah, it's like almost 0.65. That is probably too long. We're gonna have to shorten it even more, I think. Cheetah, welcome in, man. How are you doing? Because I think there started happening some weird stuff there when the sounds overlapped. Oh, still have to assign it. Boom, boom, boom. I did that in play mode. Water pipe. There we go. Yeah, this is too slow. I think we need to like halve the sound effects or something. Why is that? Like, why do I get like a high squeaky noise? Where is that coming from? Sorry, that was loud. Yeah, there is a squeaky noise in here. Sounds more like a space monster. I heard stuff is getting done here, you know it, man. It's a street from the turning mechanic, but that one's... I only use that when you click. When it fills the pipe, it should never play that one, so I think it's something... I think it's in this sound effect. Yeah, I can hear it here as well. There's a little high-pitched, almost like squeaky noise. I think I need to cut this somewhere else. Unfortunately. I'm gonna make you like stop at 0.3, maybe even slightly less. I'm gonna amplify you. Sure. Wait, before we amplify, let's add the low pass filter first. What the fuck? How do I... Boom. I don't know if I'm fucking this up now. How you doing today, Cheetah? That sounds a bit weird. Why does that sound weird? You know what I should do? Should just go back and add the effect to the entire thing. I'm gonna select all of this. We're gonna add EQ, low pass filter, yes. I think I might have stacked filters on the other one accidentally, without realizing. So this is just the low pass filter. Fridays are always good. Always imagine I'm gonna be super productive over the weekend. I like that you say that you didn't say you are super productive. You say that you always imagine that you're going to be super productive. I don't know if we could add even more low pass here. What if we go like half this? There's a lot of those high-pitched sounds in here. What do I do? Anyone understand audio? This is why I need Bjarne, because he actually understands this stuff. Change pitch. What if I drop the pitch? That sounds like it could work. I think we want less than 0.3 seconds. Just hopped in here and wasn't expecting a water sound in stereo. Triggered my flight or fight until I figured out where it was coming from. Thought my aquarium was unleashing death upon my floor. Damn. How you doing, Edmotage? That's the one thing that's way too scary about aquariums. I feel like I would stress so much about like leaks and shit. Like I just the other day or so I add out my radiators or whatever. So now I'm like triple checking every day, just making sure it is completely tight, right? There's nothing leaking here. Should be more gradual pitch change, I think. More like bassy as the valve opens. Yeah, that might be good shout. Can I do that? Okay, wait. Let me try this one first. See how it sounds. I suppose this should update immediately. Okay, now we need to make it quicker, and I think we need to make it louder. Water pipe. Oh, but that one's tricky, because technically it's only the first that would make, because the other ones are technically all open, right? It's only the very first time you would have that kind of change. But this needs to be way quicker now, so I think we can go back to 0.3. Maybe boost the volume. If that's not enough, I might have to amplify it in Audacity. Did I forget to assign it again? Have I still not assigned this in here? I haven't. Keep making changes in play mode. Maybe here we should start a continuous ambience of water flowing as well. That would be like almost like the trigger that you have completed it. That now water, but no, wait, that doesn't make sense, technically. As soon as the pipes are full, it wouldn't continuously flow. If it continues to flow indefinitely, it means that the faucet is open somewhere. So maybe not. I guess you could make a longer one that successively fades out, like it's continuing to fill pipes somewhere. But I think it seems a little bit low right now. Oh, I can see the peak decibel. Did you just play the sound back and forth? Why do I get two sounds here? It's like you're trying to play it back and forth. Oh, maybe because... Do you not have time to fully switch to the other color? wait, didn't I add the thingy where I... Water valve pipe. Has water, has water. I don't use set water anymore. I do use set water. Okay, but when we toggle the water... What if I would check... Okay, it's not gonna be fancy, but if you have water and you're trying to make it so this should maybe be like add water. If you have water and you're trying to add water, then return. So this is the save check in case it doesn't have time to fill up the pipe, because here we actually just check if the color is set correctly. This is like duct tape on duct tape, holy shit. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Do you know what I mean? This is one of those moments. My heart bleeds a little, yeah. Is that always the case now? That's water. But I never set that to true, do I? Oh. Is this the issue? Unknown artist with the raid coming in. How you doing, man? What have you been up to? Anything you wanna share? Anything you wanna show? Let me know, as always. Appreciate ya. For anyone coming in, if you don't know me, I go by Madchirpy, and we're currently working on a point-and-click horror game called Shroud of Gloom, which a demo is out on Steam as we speak, so go and check it out if you haven't. Currently working on a new puzzle here today, having to refactor it a little bit. This didn't seem to work at all. If you have water and you're trying to add water, return. Why would that not work? This should be set to false. This should be set to true. What? I Joy and welcome in as well. How you doing? How's the game going? So far so good. Trying to work on some more content for the full game now. So started prototyping a new little puzzle here. Oh no, the reason I don't play the sound effect is because I have yet again forgotten to assign it. That's why. Just need you here. That might have been the issue all along. So this might actually work. What's up, unknown artist? How you doing, man? What have you been up to? And how you doing, Joyan? Hope you've been well, mates. It still plays 2 sound effects here. Yeah, here as well. Boom, boom. It's like it actually does try to build back there or whatever. Oh, I know why. I know why. Because in here, when we calculate the water, we get target pipes before we check the new target. We should not do that. If new target is not equal to null, because here I check if the new target already has water. It's only if that is not the case that I want to add the pipes. Yeah. That should do it. Ads? Nah, let's skip the ads. I was making some art for my horror game. Nice! Anything you wanna show, man? Any links or anything? Spent 3 days on the Steam page screenshots. That was annoying, so now I'll start taking captures for the new trailer. Nice! I need to go through my screenshots as well. I've done some changes to the post-processing. The game is actually quite a bit brighter now. Like the overall brightness has been increased by quite a lot. The starting one before was here. I've gone up like here. So I think it would be good to... I think that's gonna look better in the screenshots as well. Yeah, now there's only one sound here. Oh, that's interesting. Oh shit, because that one doesn't have a fucking target. Ah, scheisse. Yeah, that's the issue. Okay, so if the new target is null, I could still check the pipes. Okay, so we could actually get this one earlier. We could get the target pipes immediately. And then if we found the target, we check if the pipes are not null. If so, we add it. If we don't find the target, then we could check if... once again, we check if pipes are not equal to null. Oh, sorry. Can I check this again? Or can I not do this? Maybe I should do this in a different function and just... Okay, fuck it. If pipes is not equal to null, then... Oh, but this is an array now. Because I should check if this is the exit pipe. This happens to me every 3 to 6 months. I have to redo every screenshot and video. Yeah, I know the feeling, man. Post them in your Discord. Let me have a look. Here we go. Ooh, we got some animations going. Oh, that's actually really clean. Oh, I like that you even do a little, like the head is actually swaying a little bit as well. Dude, for the limited amount of pixels, this is mad fucking smooth, man. How many frames is this? $12, yeah, it's a fairly high amount. Looks really good, man. gamedev, welcome in. Quick question for you. Shoot. Or I do it like I did before. What if I go back to what we did before, but we check if it has... Because I already know the target, right? I do. We remove this. We throw you back here. And then we say, if the pipes is not equal to null, and... Oh, shit. It has to be either... Do I care if the target is null? The issue is that if I would try to access new target dot has water, that's not gonna work, is it? Okay. What if... Oh shit. If the pipes are not equal to null, how do I want to do this? Because I do want to fill it even if you don't have a target, because that's the case in the exit pipe. But I don't want to fill it if the target already has water. I guess I should do 2 checks, but that's a bit annoying. It's a lot more than I usually use. I typically do 4 frames. Yeah, when I do actual animations, I tend to not have a lot of frames. But that's also just because I feel like animations are not really my strong suit to begin with. Gonna be right back, no worries, man. Would you be interested in making a 3-4 frame demonic duck animation in 16 by 16 pixels for my game? I'm getting everyone I know who does pixel art to make an idle and walking animation or bouncing in some case to be unlocked in my achievement system. Oh. I probably... Now, it is ironic, I just said that I'm not very good with animations in general, but lower frames, lower pixel counts is probably gonna make it better. But wait, do you mean... So then... Wait, would I make the sprite or only the animation? I guess that's the first question. The sprites and animation? Okay. Demonic duck. Alright, we could probably try. Bro, you are good with pixel art. To be very clear, I'm not necessarily making the argument that I'm not good at pixel art. I actually, with the, with the risk of sounding a bit non-humble, I actually do think I've gotten pretty good at pixel art. It's just that animations, like specifically animations, I feel less confident about, if that makes sense. If the pipes are not null, we could do a ugly if-else statement here. So, no, fuck, how do I want to do this? I can't straight up check if new target has water, because I might not have a target. If I do it here, then this is if I don't have a target. Wait, if I don't have a target, I should just check if they are not. Fuck it. I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna say boom, and I'm gonna say boom. I think that's all I need to do. Not the best way, but I'm more interested in just getting this to work at this moment. I don't care that much about it being perfect. We can always polish this code up later on if we need to. Welcome back, artist. Tidy on Discord Chappy, let me check it out. Making the cinematic 4K 120 FPS car intro. Not good with animations, be confident. Yeah, but I feel like that's different, because that's still a fairly static animation, if you know what I mean. Like, it's more so when I try to like animate humanoid beings and stuff, that's when I tend to really feel like this is something I just need to learn more. Like, I'm not very good with like anatomy and shit like that. So it's more like, if it's like organic animations, I find them to be a bit more tricky. Like the car intro is more simple because it's kind of, it has some staticness to it. Like making the swing move and like the clock move, like I can do stuff like that. Obviously I have other animations, but these are like one sprite changes, so I barely count them as animations. But we do have stuff like this. But this is like what? This is like 5 frames or something, and it's like a like inorganic object. Like those I'm kind of fine with, but if I need to do like a full-on, you know, if I need to do like a full-on like human doing a backflip, then I'm fucked. I feel that pain. For example, I modeled my first character the other day. Looked great until I animated it, and it's all slipped through the pants. Yeah. What's up, Great Grievance? How you doing, man? Choppy, I have a random question for you. Shoot, AO? That's why I'm doing spaceships? Yeah. I feel like just not having to work with organic objects makes it so much easier, man. It really does. Like, in the context of like a spaceship, like what animation do you really need? Maybe a little thrust animation and you're pretty much set, you know? Whereas like if you're having a humanoid main character, now you need like walking animations, jumping animations, maybe attack animations, ducking, running, idle, you know, there's so much you need to do. And especially for me that's not like great with anatomy, it does get a bit tricky. Not like, like, look, I think I could do it with enough time, but it would just be quite, you know, it would take more time, which is always something you have to balance, especially as a full-time indie dev, you know? Like, can I take the risk of trying to make a game that's gonna require me to do a bunch of animations? I don't know. Obviously I would get better at it, like it would be a learning experience, but it's also a risk I'm taking on, right? Automod, really? Yeah, I think I know why Automod caught that message Ecliptic. Obviously I approved it, but I think it was scared that you were close enough to one of those where you say a few words and they might sound like a different word, if you know what I mean. Well, I have to shoot going to pick up a friend from the airport, but have a quick look before I bounce so you can see. Let me have a look. Bounce, move. Okay, okay. Yeah, I should probably do something. Space game has simple animations, yes, but it comes at the price of heavy quaternion use. If it's 3D, I suppose. That's why we also do 2D over here. I wish I was good at the 1-bit art style, it's so cool. I think it's kind of buffed, especially if you struggle with art, because I feel like working with constraints is actually a advantage in that case. Like, I put a lot of constraints on myself. Obviously the palette being one of the bigger ones, but even the resolution, like the very small resolution, is another type of constraint. And then like, you know, general just like art philosophies in terms of like not rotating pixels, not mixing pixel sizes. Like I put a lot of these constraints on myself, and I think that's the way to go, especially if you struggle with like art, because the more constraints you put on yourself, the more consistent it's gonna end up looking. Do you like being a full-time indie dev? Do you find it more rewarding? Like, do you feel it changed the way you looked and enjoyed indie development? I mean, not really. like going in full time, like because here's the thing, right? Like I really enjoyed indie game development, and I found in like game development in general to be very rewarding before I went full time. Like, you know, that's basically one of the reasons why I decided to go full time. So if anything, it's not really like it's making game dev specifically more rewarding, because I already found it rewarding. It's more so that it made my
Don't forget to save.
It made my day-to-day feel more rewarding because I get to do it more. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, how did you transition mentally from it being a hobby to a full-time job? Yeah, I don't know if I found it to be that much of a... Like, I think I'm just obsessive enough to where I don't really see nothing but enjoyment out of being able to do it more. Obviously, other cons come into play with, like, me fucking up my hands and stuff from overworking, but that's because I enjoy it so much, right? Otherwise, I can't say I found it difficult to, like... Obviously, like, nothing... It doesn't really have to do with game dev itself. It's like the stuff around it. Like, the positives I feel like I got out of it have more to do with, like, just my day-to-day, being able to spend more time doing something I like. And the negatives of stuff, like, obviously I'm stressing a bit more about money. Like, I'm burning through my savings, so that's another, like... That's one of the negative outcomes of this. But, like... The way I see and interact with game dev itself is not too different. I guess I value scope management more because I understand that, like, if I make the scope way too big, then I'm not gonna be able to finish it, so I can't make money, so I'm not gonna be able to make a living from this, etc. You know, that type of thing. So, like, for my next game, for example, I'm gonna... Like, the budget I have is gonna determine the scope of the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I look at my savings and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it another 6 months, then obviously the next game I make is going to be really small, because I need to try and make sure that I start a game that I can finish in the time that I have left. Just that increases the odds that I might make it. So in terms of deciding what game to work on, it adds some other factors, but in general, I don't feel like I've like directly changed my mindset that much about game dev otherwise. Yeah, it's close to one of those trap lines, exactly. Really, I thought it was the word wait, but I'm a snack enthusiast myself. It was not. It was 2 words closer to the end of that sentence that I marked. Because I actually see from Automod, like, which words was the ones that triggered it. Enjoy your stream. Cheers, Ginger. Is a leg joint word that's a common streamer troll? Yeah. Well, do you have some general roadmap? How do you decide what next to do, and how will you decide I'm ready with the game? Art is never finished, only a banner. Yeah, that's a pretty good shout. Obviously with this game, I think this is actually bad, but I don't think I had enough of a roadmap. That's why I'm saying that, like, for my next game, I think I would be a lot more strict about the scope and the plan. Like, I by no means meant for this game to take as long as it has taken me. Like, I thought I would finish this game in a few months, and I spent like a full year on it now. Like, I'm already at the point where I actually think that I spent too much time on this game. Not because I don't, like, think it was worth it, or like I think that the game turned out better. Like, obviously the game has improved a lot, but out of like a... If you look at it with like a business mindset, it's a lot more risky. Like, if I spend another 6 months on this game, and then the game doesn't do well enough, that's, you know, that's a few months that I could have spent working on a different game that maybe would have done better. So it's the whole thing about, like, not putting all of the eggs in the same basket. Like, I don't want to work on this game until my savings run out, because then this game will be my, like, one shot of making it. Whereas if I manage to cram out maybe 2-3 games, then, you know, each game has its own opportunity to make me back some of the money. How do you scope how long a game will take you to make? My game was supposed to be out in April, I hated it, and I'm remaking everything. Yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten better at understanding scope. Like, obviously the first game I ever tried to make was a massive RPG game. So in other words, I had no fucking thought about scope whatsoever. But it's still something I'm learning to this day. Like I said, this game, It's hard for me to justify the amount of time I've spent on this game. Obviously, it would be justified if the game does really well. Then it's gonna automatically be all worth it, right? But it's just more risky. Like, I think if you want to go full-time, and you're in a similar position to me, it makes more sense to try and cram out a lot of small games in the hope that, like, one of them does well enough for you to, you know, become a bit more sustainable. Whereas, that's what I meant with, like, if I would burn through the rest of my savings making this game, then it's like my entire game dev career is going to rely only on this product, which means that if it doesn't do well enough, I'm fucked. Whereas if I could have crammed out like 3 or 4 games before I'm out of money, then maybe just 2 of those games doing decently would have been enough for me to make it sustainable. Do you know what I mean? Every day Chirpy the CEO is scolding Chirpy the project manager? Yeah, pretty much. Wait, so you don't know how the game ends? Do you mean if I know, like, the ending of this game? Because that I do. If that's what you mean. But it's more so just about, like, the amount of time that I put into it. Like, I think I should have probably tried to keep the game even simpler. This is still, like, a fairly low-scope game, but, like, you know, I've already burned through a pretty big portion of my savings, so it just feels a little bit more stressful compared to, like, if I would have been able to post maybe, or, like, if I would have been able to, like, publish one game at this point, I might have started to have a little bit of, like, a passive income from that. And, like, it just would have been more... a bit more safe, financially speaking. Yeah, just you said that you have no roadmap. I mean, I do kind of now. I think the point I was trying to make is more so that when I started, I had very little of a roadmap. Like, I have a general idea of my timeline now, but I think it took me a bit too long to, like, realistically, you know, understand the time this game would take me. Because there's still, like, a clip of me from, or, you know, I have all of my old VODs, and I know there's one time, like, shortly after we finished the game jam, where I literally said on stream that I think I'm going to finish this game in a couple of months. And, you know, that was, like, almost a year ago now. So that kind of goes to show that my... You know, my initial idea did not really... it definitely took longer than I expected, which I think is always kind of the time, or the case, right? Like, I think that's kind of how most people find it. It's fairly rare that someone makes a game and they were like, oh yeah, this took less time than I thought. Like, most of the time it does take longer. I gotta go, hope that the rest of your stream goes great. Thank you very much, Unknown Artist, and thank you for the raid again. Appreciate ya. Have a good day, man. I'm in a similar position, but don't have the skills to pump out multiple games before I'm out of money, so I'm treating it as a learning opportunity combined with a break from the corporate world. Yeah, and I do see it somewhat similar as well. Like, I have been very clear before in terms of, like, even if I don't make it as an indie developer, it's not like I'm gonna regret this. Like, in that case, I'm gonna look back at this as a, like, you know, as a good little vacation where I got to do things I really wanted to do, you know? I don't think I'm gonna regret it if I don't make it, but with that being said, of course, like, you know, I do want to increase the odds of me making this into a sustainable business. Bold Tortle, welcome in. Because I feel like conflicted, kind of, you know? Both games I'm working on, one I'm working on, one I'm planning, are full story-based games, and I've worked really hard on the stories and arts, and like, I don't know if smaller games would have had the same effort and passion in them. No, and that might be the case. Like, I don't think necessarily that there's anything wrong with making a bigger game either. It depends a lot on what you're looking to get out of it and stuff. And I think the main thing is that you have to be realistic. Like, the reason why I think it was bad for me to... the reason why I think it was bad for me to start off making an RPG game, like massive open world RPG game, is because I was not realistic about how much time that would take me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're willing to spend like multiple years working on a big project, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The issue is when you overscope and start making a game that you think is gonna take you like 3 months to make, and that's kind of like the time you're willing to put into it, but in reality it's like a 4-year game. Like, that's when I feel like that might not be the way to go. Like, I would probably recommend doing a smaller game. But if someone wants to make a big game and they are realistic about the time it's gonna take, then, you know, I don't see any problem with that. Lots of the real issue is being delusional? Kind of, yeah, kind of, to be honest. In some regard, like, it's only if you have the illusion or delusion of being able to finish something in a very short amount of time when that's not true. That's when I feel like, in that case, you probably haven't practiced scope management enough, because obviously you have, in that case, you have no idea about how long it's gonna take you to make a game. Like, if you start making a MMORPG with the same scope as like World of Warcraft, and you go, I'm gonna make this game in 3 months, then like if this is like your first game, you probably won't, right? And I see that as more of a problem compared to if you go, yeah, I'm gonna spend 8 years building my dream game, and I'm willing to do that. At that point, like, yeah, go for it, man. I think from a learning standpoint, I think it's still probably better to do multiple smaller projects. But, you know, I wouldn't shit on someone making a massive game if they, you know, if they know what they're getting into. And of course it depends a lot on your experience as well, like, but that's the thing, like, if you are highly experienced in like programming or something, you probably still have a better idea of how long something is gonna take. My strategy was to choose a genre where I can ship the base game in a scale of months, but continue to improve and monetize it over time. Yeah, that sounds good. So you're just like 11 months late? Nah, more like maybe 9-10 months late. Since I thought it would take a couple more months for me to finish it after the game jam. And that's killed many businesses, yeah. Not just games, but a lot of those too, yeah. Also dangerous thinking you can make that RPG in 2 years and then you'll actually never finish it because it's overscoped. Yeah, because I think that would be sad as well. Like, I'd rather see people actually finish their games. And especially if you are unaware of how much you've overscoped the game and you technically were not willing to put that much time into it, I feel like that's a greater chance of you abandoning the project. And personally, for me at least, what I found is that I really enjoy working on games, kind of even if I don't really like the game itself either. Which maybe sounds a bit crazy. I know a lot of people are under this impression that like you should only make games that you are deeply passionate about. I actually don't know if I fully agree. Like, I really like working on games. Like, I just enjoy the process of making games. Like, when I made my first game, The first one I finished, Pastry Pops, little catching game. Like, that's not a game I'm passionate about. I had no, like, actual ambitions with it. I'd almost even go as far to say that, you know, it's not even a game that I would play. It's not even that fun. But you know what? I really enjoyed making it. My hope is to make a pretty massive game, but again, live service, so release one patch at a time. Yeah, and that also, I think, is a more... That seems like a safer route to it. Because then you can still get stuff out there, no matter what. How long left are you estimating today? Was it Q1 next year? Yeah, like end of Q1, like, because the plan currently is Next Fest in February, which means that the full release would be shortly thereafter. Which is still kinda stressful. Like, I'm by no means am I guaranteeing this. Cause, like, you know, February is gonna get here pretty soon. And when I join the Next Fest, I need to make sure that I can push the full game, like, in at least a month or two. If that's not the case, then we would have to push it for the June Next Fest, which means the release would be in, like, July or something. But that is definitely a bit more time than I would like to, so it's possible that, I don't know, we might have to cut the game a bit short or something, because it would be really good for me to try and get this game out soon, just from, like, a financial perspective. Like, I don't know, it just feels a lot more risky to spend too much time on this. I realize I have an issue here. Start coroutine. We need to say coroutine equals start coroutine. And then we're gonna do something fancy here. We can always clear the unused pipes, that should be fine. But if the coroutine is not equal to null, then I want to stop that coroutine. And then I want to start the new one. Yeah. Because I think that was the issue before. I was triggering multiple of these when I spammed the valves. Anyway. Making games are funner than games these days. True. I actually, like, making games have very much taken over the time I used to spend playing games. And I think it is because, in essence, I find making games a lot more rewarding than playing games. Not that I never play games, I still enjoy playing a game every now and again. But, like... yeah, I just really like making games, you know? Games are sometimes made because it's a hobby and it's fun to work on them. People shouldn't have to think every game should be made for selling. No, I absolutely agree. I think if you're going... like, a lot of the stuff that I say does not apply to you if you are a hobby game developer and you're just doing it for the fun of it. Like, obviously, I'm talking from the perspective of someone who is, like, investing way too much of my savings into trying to actually make this into, like, a sustainable career or whatever. So, like, if you want to work on a game just for the fun of it on the side, and even if you don't really care about finishing it or not, like, at that point I have nothing to say, right? Like, I can't complain on that. This is more so like, if your goal is to actually make a somewhat successful game or whatever, then I feel like you have to take more of this into account. I've always enjoyed working more than playing in general. Creating things for me is the best ever. I just don't make games, I make everything. No, I think just being creative in general is rewarding. You have any plans for the next game? I've had some ideas. I do think about it every now and again, but the truth of the matter is the fact that there's no way for me to say what kind of game I will be making next until we have released this one. Because, like I said, the success or not success of Shroud of Gloom is what's going to decide the scope of the next game. Like, if this game would sell really well and I get like a 2-year buffer from it, then I would be quite inclined to make a bigger, more ambitious game. But if I only get like another few months from this, then I just can't take the risk making a big game. So in that case, I might even end up making a game that's quite a lot smaller in scope compared to this. Like, it all kind of depends on the situation. My hobby is just programming coding, so games fit into that pretty well, yeah. If you're not trying to pay bills, it really doesn't matter much, yeah, exactly. Come on, Xavi, we know you have some ideas in the noggin of yours. No, I do. And I do every now and again lie there and think about like what my next game might be, but I also have to be, you know, I have to be somewhat realistic in the case of like there's no way I would start working on it until this game is done anyway, so, you know, I don't put too much value into those thoughts at the moment. Just keep them on the back burner for once it's time to settle on a new game. Hall of Honor, yeah. I have definitely thought about going back to Hall of Honor, but Hall of Honor would be a more ambitious game. I think even though it's like it would be like a roguelike and whatnot, which means that we can reuse a lot of content, it would still be bigger in scope compared to something like this, I think. So I do very much want to go back to Hall of Honor one day. But if Shroud of Gloom doesn't do well enough, I don't know if I can risk it now. Because I think Hall of Honor, to properly finish a game like that, polished and everything, like I would assume that would take me even longer than making this game. And if Shroud of Gloom doesn't do well enough, I can't justify spending like another 1.5 years on a single game. Because let's be honest here, I might not have a 1.5 years. And I think it's better for me to try and choose a game that I can finish in whatever time I have left as an indie developer. Probably better to focus on this one, yeah. Honestly, if I need to turn game development into a living, I think I would make 5 to 10 prototypes that I could make in 3 to 5 days each. Yeah, I think I might go on a little game jam marathon or something, or prototyping marathon after we finish this game, and then pick the one that seems fun and makes the most sense. But yeah, the biggest issue right now is that I really do need to figure out how big that scope would be, and I can't do that until we finish this game. Oh! That one feels the wrong way. Yeah, that's why I said I might have to change the order here somewhere. I wonder if we should jump over to Grim Fandango soon. We're gonna do a little bit of play today as well. It is Friday after all. Let's see here. Let me make sure that we got this done though. So it's mainly the corners where we have 2 different things that we need to make sure those are correctly aligned. So this one will always fill the bottom one first, which is 1A to 1B, so that should be correct. That should be fine. And then this one, you should, if you go to the right, you should fill 1D to 1E first, and then up there, that should also be correct. This one going down, you should do 1B to 1... No. If you would go down, you should go from 2A to 1A and then from 1A to 1B. If you go up, then we want to go 2A, 3A, and then 3A, 3B. That is correct. We can skip all of these until this one. If you go down, then 1E, 2E, that's correct, and then that one. If you go up, then we should start by filling 2E to 3E. I basically named this grid as a chessboard, because it made it easier. That should be correct. This one to the left, this was wrong, wasn't it? Yeah, you need to fill 3B to 3A and then 3A to 2A. Last but not least, we have this one. If you go to the right... Yeah, that should be fine. Now everything should fill correctly. Chubby, it was fun talking to you. In the break for my practice test, I will go finish now. No worries, AO. Thank you for hanging out and good luck with your test. Okay, let me double check that that is working as it should. Grumble of Pugs, how you doing, man? Welcome in. What have you been up to? Anything you want to share? Anything you want to show? Let me know. Angelion Chick, welcome in. Cybergunk, thank you for the follow. iHeart Funny Boys, good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. Aileton Studio, good to have ya. Let me give a little shout out here to the one and only Grumble of Pugs. Anything you want to share, anything you want to show, feel free to do so. Feel free to send any links in the chat. This guy's demo is so crazy, I love it. Oh, thank you so much, man. How did the demo release go? So far, it's gone quite well. Currently sitting at, what, 71 reviews? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So yeah, we did release the demo like a few weeks ago. For anyone coming in, if you don't know me, I go by Madchirpy and I'm working on this point-and-click horror game called Shroud of Gloom. And yeah, go play the demo if you haven't. Here's a little trailer for you. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, the demo is out right now, so go and give it a go if you haven't. If you have played the demo, feel free to leave a review. That would help out quite a lot. I watched iHeart freak out playing your game. Yeah, that was a fun playthrough. The final jump scare definitely got her, eh? It's a scary game, what can I say? I'm Jervnost with the professional account, just to be... Oh, I see. Welcome in, man. And thank you for the follow as well. You use some kind of pathfinding to detect when the puzzle is solved? No, at the moment I don't even detect if the puzzle is solved. I think I'm gonna do something way easier here though, which is just to check whether this pipe ever gets filled. Because as soon as this pipe is filled, you must have solved it, right? So I think that's going to be the trigger here. Like, if you manage to get around this and fill this, that means you've solved it. So then we trigger, like, the solution. Which I think I'm gonna make this stuff uninteractable, so you can't, like, change it and mess it up, basically. When you complete it, it just becomes uninteractable. I think that's the way to go. However, Grumble, do you have a link to your game? I think wait. I have it on my wish list. I think I even have the
Time to stretch.
I think I've even added your demo. I think I have your demo in my library.
Cheers.
Megabat, right? Cheers, iHeart. Oh, let me do a stretch as well. You should play Machinarian, dude, after Fandango, or even before. Yeah, I've heard that one, I've gotten that one recommended to me. How you doing, Lupo? 3 stream street, cheers, man. Yeah, the plan currently is that we are gonna continue our Grim Fandango playthrough a little bit today. Not for too long, but see if we can make some progress. I'm actually pretty happy with this. There's definitely more polish we could do. But filling this successively feels better. I don't know if... Maybe... we should make it fill even quicker. I think we could drop this down, maybe 0.25 or something. Serious question, what do you call the animation where something gets bigger and smaller repeatedly? It's not a bounce. It's like a zoom bounce in some way. I wonder what... Can you check what... Because that's an animation on Twitch, right? Like the Twitch alerts. They have a bunch of names for the text animation. I think they have... just out of curiosity, what do they call it? I call it throb, but people are being gross. Ping pong is a good one, but ping pong tends to be more generic, right? Like, because that should be from side to side. That's just that it's going back and forth, right? Yeah, ping pong is about the repeat pattern. I think so as well. I'm a bit curious here. If I can check... Like, I'm thinking about this. They usually have a... Can I not do, like, text animations here? Visuals and sound. Or maybe I'm thinking of... No, I think I'm thinking of Streamlabs. I was curious as to what they called it. These... There's no animation on the text here. No, here, animation. Fade in. But it's just a, yeah, in and out animation, so that's a bit different. I know Streamlabs has name for how, like, the animations of the text, and I think there is one. I'm curious now. Grow, shrink, that could work. That is definitely descriptive enough. There's a site for easing functions. Oh yeah, I have that one, but that one is also different, right? Because these don't necessarily have to be continuous, right? I mean, ease in, out. Obviously you could loop that one. I like throb. Let's see, I can show this, right? Text animation, none. Pulse, is that it? No. Oh wait, do I need to save this? Rubber band, da, wave, wiggle, wobble. Oh wait, I can see it here, right. Wave, da, pulse, but no, that's not really the same thing. Bounce, maybe they didn't have a pure zoom in, zoom out. Might have misremembered. Oh shit, I was blocking it for you guys, sorry. It is throbbing, don't listen to haters. Yeah, I think that one does work, to be fair. I think pulsating could work as well, but it is a bit more... I mean, all of these are kind of generic. Like, the grow shrink one is the only one that's, like, fully descriptive. Like, there's no ambiguity to what it could mean. Pulse is opacity, in my honest opinion. Yeah, it could be, but I think you could say that something is pulsing size-wise as well. Kinda similarly with throbbing as well. Like, couldn't it be a opacity throb? It's like pulsing or throbbing scale. And that's why I feel like if you wanted to be as descriptive enough as you could, then grow shrink works quite well, because that is inherently talking about scale, right? Whereas the other ones are kind of a little bit more... Oh, I should change this wall texture so there's some like broken thingies here. That will look way better. Anyway. That's the one that wouldn't have any ambiguity. But in the end, as long as it made sense to you, I don't know if it's actually a problem. I think this is fine. This kinda works, doesn't it? Pulse is a verb, your heart pulses, yeah. Yeah, I think the difference with just, let's be honest here, grow and shrink are just verbs as well, but they are a little bit more niche, because they tend to inherently talk about scale. Of course, you could use it metaphorically or whatever, like... Fucking... My hunger is growing. Like, that's more metaphorically, but you could argue that it still kind of talks about scale in some regard. Oscillating zoom effect. Google suggests these alternatives: vertigo effect, Hitchcock's zoom, contra zoom, trombone zoom, push pull, and Zolly. We're using it for time in a game or just speaking in general? I think this is just what you call it behind the scenes, right, iHeart? If I understood you correctly. I do need to make a system so I can, like, split up these different levels as well, because I think I want to make, like, 3-4 of these puzzles and then randomize which one you get. I suppose I could just flip this one as well, but I think I could probably come up with, like, 3 different designs. Oh, you know a big issue right now? That's actually the fact that this one is completed immediately. I could randomize an amount of turns on each valve. Because it's already solved, right? It would be kind of nice if we could, on each valve pair, we randomize the amount of initial turns between 1 to 3. Well, it's not bad. The risky thing about doing it 1 to 4, or whatever, or 0 to 3, I suppose, is that there is a very minuscule chance that all of them could end up being placed correctly, and the puzzle auto-solves. That wouldn't be good. I wonder how I would do this, though. So... I guess the valves themselves can handle this, but this one has a reference to all valves, right? Brent Brava with the raid. Welcome in, man. How you doing? What have you been up to? Anything you want to share? Anything you want to show? Let me know, as always. Let me give a shout out here to Brent Brava, yet another game developer here on twitch.tv. Go and check him out if you haven't. 8 bits a byte, good to have ya. For anyone coming in, if you don't know me, I go by Mad Sherpy and I'm working on this point-and-click horror game called Shroud of Gloom, which you can play the demo of right as we speak. So go and check it out. If you haven't played the demo, make sure to leave a review, it would help me out a lot. Could you always have it start the same way? I could, to be fair. I could just change the default position. The reason it is in the correct position from the get-go is because it makes it very easy for me when I set this up to visualize that all of these will be correct. Because the issue is that these red lines symbolize the fact that some of these valves are connected. So I can't change them, like, independently. Like, if I only turn this one way, or like one time now, then the puzzle is not gonna be solvable. Or it might be, but with the wrong solution or whatever. So either I manually change them or I programmatically change them. It kind of is less work to do it programmatically, I think. Because otherwise I need to go through each valve, rotate it, and change the... unless I make it initialize. But yeah, I need to make sure then that I change the pass correctly. Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna do this programmatically. That's more fun. Managed to solve a difficult problem thanks to my viewers, but now I'm going to chill with you guys. Nice to hear, man. Glad to hear you managed to solve it. The solution right now is not randomized. I did think about randomizing the solution, but it did seem a little bit too tricky because there's gonna be a lot of edge cases where it's gonna be very difficult making it so that you can't have like multiple solutions or that, and like managing the difficulty. So what, like almost all of my puzzles are randomized to some extent. So for this one, like the compromise I kind of decided on is that I might make like 3 or 4 different levels here, and then I ran like what you call it, handmade levels, and then I basically just randomize which one you get. So there still is some potential for variety. But it's not gonna be like some of the puzzles I have like, you know, hundreds of potential solutions, sometimes even more technically. But that seemed, I don't know if I'm clever enough to write the perfect algorithm for that here, in terms of like managing amount of solutions and difficulty. So to be very clear though, I'm not necessarily saying that I couldn't just manually mess this up and let the player fix it. I do suppose that the only risk about randomizing it is that there's always gonna be a probability that every single valve only needs to be turned once. Obviously low chance, but it could happen. Every time I visit the stream I hear this song. Was it from the Eyesight of Binding? Yeah, it's from, all the music is from Binding of Isaac. The old playlist I used to listen to got removed from YouTube, sad. So now I just do the Binding of Isaac soundtrack. What's the objective of the puzzle? If you haven't already explained it 100 times, no worries, man. The objective is to get the water flowing from the bottom and out the top. But then what makes it into a puzzle is the fact that some of these valves are connected. So when you turn one, you might mess up another one. So they all have to be in the correct position. Because obviously otherwise the solution would just be to turn this one up, this one up, this one up. Boom, you're done. But that's not really a puzzle. The issue now is that I can't, if I wanna randomize the first rotation, I can't randomize amount of turns on this and then randomize an amount of turns on this, because both are going to be affected. And I don't want to use the same number of turns across the board. So I think with the pass, we maybe set a bool whether or not they are initialized or some shit like that to make sure that only one will be triggered. I don't think it's too difficult. Like, what if I just had a function here called something like randomize starting position. Yeah, I already made the bool initialized, which I don't think is used right now, but that was the plan here. Because then I could basically do this, rotate the valves. That shouldn't play the sound effect, so that should be fine. A random amount of times. And then set them to be... Oh yeah, why if I do this? Rotate valve. I could pass in a number of turns and default it to 1. We'll see. Classic water flow minigame? Yeah, pretty much. Randomize everything, the last valve pointed down. The issue if I randomize them individually is that it could become unsolvable. Mind78, welcome in. Can you generate some kind of possibility space or something and then navigate through that? I probably could. I'm a little bit hesitant to actually randomize the entire solution because it feels like that could be quite a lot of work to make sure that the difficulty levels are somewhat aligned and that the solution never is too simple, and to make sure that it cannot be unsolvable.
Don't forget to save.
That's a good shout. And I don't know if that's worth it for something that's gonna take up like 1 minute of the player's playtime. Do you know what I mean? That would definitely be the more like, you know, proper way of doing it. Will there be like a forced solution that will be random? No. So I think I'm gonna handcraft like a few solutions or a few levels or whatever you want to call it, and then just randomize which one you get. Currently what I'm thinking about doing is just randomizing the starting position of the valves. So the solution is gonna remain the same, but we're just gonna randomize like what position the valves are in. Did I take care of some business? No worries, iHot. Thank you for lurking. Maybe complicated, but you could run a check to ensure that the valves are not a certain position as not break the puzzle. Oh, sorry guys, we do have some ads running. Completely missed that one. Surely you can detect the links as you are randomizing and then set both links to the same value. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. The issue is that I might trigger the same pair. Like this one has 3 pairs. And if I call this code on each one, then we're gonna keep on flipping it more times than we might want. So what I'm thinking is that if this one is the one that gets triggered first... Oh, you know what I could do? I could just set up a list of the valves I want randomized and just pick one from each pair. But that's less fancy, that's no fun, is it? Like, what I'm thinking is that here we could basically check if this already is initialized, then just don't do anything. If it isn't initialized, then I want to do like a random roll. Between 1 and 4. So that's gonna give me a random number between 1 and 3, since this is an integer. Which means, I don't know if this is the best way of doing it, that means that it can never start in the correct position. I don't think it's a problem if one starts in the correct position, but it would be a problem if everyone starts in the correct position, obviously. One man, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. So here's what I would do, I would just randomize them, save the state, and then vary everything. Brute force every solution, and if it is solvable, then save the initial state as a solution you can choose from later. That way, no massive computing on runtime. But then it seems like, wouldn't there still be a lot of edge cases that we'd have to keep in mind here? Because depending on like how you randomize this, there might be like 7 different solutions. Because what I did try before was to randomize the position of every single one. And obviously that made it so that sometimes it was unsolvable, sometimes the solution was way too simple, or sometimes there was like 7 solutions. So the starting stage shouldn't take up much space, you could easily save a ton of them. And it's so small that it's never going to be massive runtime. Yeah, this is not a problem now, since I'm just gonna, you know, one time randomize the starting position of these. But I'm not gonna change, like the puzzle is still the same. There's only one solution. So like, to be very clear, I'm not randomizing the puzzle here, I'm just randomizing the starting position. That's what the brute force will find and traverse the possibility space. So the possibility space should show every solution and how far away it is, i.e. difficulty. Oh, I see, like how many steps it would take, yeah. No, that does make sense. I think the main thing here is that I don't think this is the best way for me, personally, to do it. Because I think for me to make this fucking algorithm to calculate this and stuff is gonna take me more time than making this entire puzzle. And for something that's gonna be like a 1-minute puzzle in this game, it's just not worth my time. Would it be a good learning experience? Of course. That, you know, that shouldn't be understated. But in my current situation, I just don't know if it makes sense for me to do it that way. Because I just wouldn't even know where to start. So to be very clear, I'm not saying that that isn't like, perhaps even objectively, a better way of going about it. It's definitely more sophisticated. But I think it's, for me here, I feel like it feels like a good compromise to just handcraft a few different ones so that I can be completely sure of the difficulty and then just randomize which one you get. Yeah, it's a small insignificant puzzle, so it's not worth a complex system. Yeah, exactly. I think the objectively best way is the simplest solution that doesn't blow up. To brute force it, you wouldn't have to let a script keep trying different valve directions until it finds a solution, which would be silly. Brute force it. But this is the interesting thing about game development, right? There's always so many different ways you could do something, which is actually one of the things I quite enjoy. If I wasn't under time constraints, I would probably try to make the entire puzzle randomized, but yeah, I'm not sure it makes sense in our current situation. But I do wanna, just for fun, randomize the starting position, because that feels fairly simple. I'm just gonna make this work, and then we can... oh wait, let's see here. Rotate valve. Shouldn't I just pause in a direction? Yeah, what if I do a... Wait, this might be simpler. Private void set starting position. And then we pause in a direction. No, because I do need to trigger, because I don't know what the position of the other one should be. Fuck it. This is not gonna look nice, but this is the way I'm gonna do it. We are going to... I don't want to publish this event until the end. So I'm just gonna do a for loop. That's not what I want. Why? That's what I want. Thank you. If this is less than the random amount, I'm just gonna rotate valve. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Which is going to switch this one. And then I'm gonna copy this code, because I don't give a fuck. We're gonna do a for each loop in here as well and rotate all of the paths. But the very important thing here is that when we do this, no, let's do this. Private void set starting position int turns. So we're gonna rotate that amount of turns. And then in here, after we have done this, we are going to set initialize to true. So that we can't trigger the same one again. Random range 1 to 4 for each pair, blah blah blah. And now here we can just call set starting position with that random amount. And then of course we need to set the starting position of this one with the random amount as well. I feel like this should work. I'd write a complex algorithm to figure out the puzzle each time, and I would never finish the game. Wait, that's what I always do. Here's another idea though, start with the solution and then randomize it backwards. That's kind of what I'm doing. So you make the solution and the connections first, and you randomize the turns to gobble it up. That is exactly what we're doing. Because right now, this is set to have the solution. And then each valve has 4 different positions. So I randomize a amount of turns between 1 and 3, so each one will be put in a incorrect position. Random number between 1 and 360 and use it as the rotation value. I would model this as a state chart. The valves that are linked would be parallel nodes. Interesting. Can you randomly solve it at the start? Now that should be impossible. Since the solution is the starting state. Obviously I need to make sure that that doesn't inherently automatically solve it. But that means that as long as we do even just one turn, we are going to mess up the puzzle. Okay, something is not working because this is looking correct. Okay, oh, because I never called this. Right, so in the puzzle, in awake. Now that is going to trigger... I should have a one that doesn't do the animation here. Recalculate water. That's what I do when you turn a valve. I should pause in a bool whether this is the initialization. Pause that bool in here. If I could just check... Okay, we do this. Fuck it. More bools. Initialized... equals false. Toggle water. I don't want to play the sound effect or do the delay if it's not initialized. If not initialized... No. If you... you know what? How do I want to do this? If not initialized, then... What would I do here? Continue, I think. Then it's gonna jump to the next for each, right? So now we can trigger this once, and then we say initialized equals true. And then here we're gonna go through each of the... Now we want to go through each of the valves. So each of the water valves, I want to say... valve.randomize starting position. No idea if this is gonna work, but we're gonna see what happens. I would have over-engineered it, and that's why we are in the Twitch chat. Randomize the valves while the player does nothing to have that torch pointed at them. Oh, look at that. Okay, so that one is in the wrong position. So now the important thing is, can we solve this? Why are you not... Why is this not filling? That one fills. I don't know why this pipe isn't being filled up here. It should loop. With that being said, we can complete the puzzle. Just did a calculation and there are 4 possible solution paths? No. Do you mean in this specific puzzle? In this there should only be 1. How else would you solve this? Keep in mind that the red ones are connected. So if I turn this one, I'm gonna turn all the other ones. I am almost 100% certain that you can't find another solution here. Can't go back to the start, we've been endless loop. No, I can still fill the water, I just can't continue, which I already checked for. Because what I do is that whenever we calculate the water, we check if the target valve we go into already has water. If so, then we return. So that is to break the potential endless loop. But it should still fill that water. No. Because if it has water, then I don't add the pipes. If new target is not equal to null, if we have a target. Oh, but yeah, then the issue was that we would get double sound effect, so I kinda broke that here. Players should be allowed to use a hammer to break valves and then the water flows through it. Probably wouldn't be too difficult to do, to be honest. Sees it so it stops and won't fill? Yeah. The issue was that before, this one filled twice. So I made this look if this one is already filled. But that seemed to break this instead, because it should fill this one. It shouldn't continue looping around, of course, but it should still fill this. Because it feels a bit weird that this doesn't get filled, but this does. On a side note, the battery at the bottom, I thought it was a direction indicator at the first glance. Saying to go from top to bottom might be confusing the first time someone gets here. That is true. However, I wonder if that might not be a problem, because this is not going to be the first puzzle, and every other close-up object in this game has that arrow. So it's also the same type of arrow as when you hover and exit. So I think this is a problem when you just check this one individually. But in game I don't think it will be, because people will already have seen this arrow on multiple other puzzles. But it is a fair point. I don't know if I liked this not getting filled in. But I also didn't like getting 2 sound effects here. I just checked and there's only 2. This one and the mirrored version. No. You can't mirror this. Mirroring this would be... boom. And then here you're stopped. Just now there's no way for me... oh yeah, even just changing this one will inherently make this one point downwards. So even if I would get to that one somehow, which I can by doing this, I cannot actually solve it, just the water cannot go up here. Like, the puzzle will inherently be unsolvable if I start going right. Which is a pretty massive hint to the player, to be fair. Because I basically give away the position of this one. Because the only way to exit is to have the middle valves in this position. Question is, do I want to fix this? I think I do. But I think if I do it like before, then I'm gonna get double sound effects here. And I don't like that. Oh wait, shouldn't I check if the... Wait... If the pipe is not filled... No, I check. I should have made this one public. If the pipe is not filled, this is gonna be very confusing, and the pipe does not have water, which is kind of a... That seems redundant, but they do mean different things. If I do that, then I should be able to go back here, shouldn't I? So we copy this, we comment that out, we add the pipes immediately. And then we comment this out. Tech guy, welcome in, man, thank you for the follow. I don't think I need to debug log the depth anymore. Unless, did this cause another issue somewhere? Let's see. Yeah, so you can randomize the valves by taking the original solution and then applying a scramble. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the simplest way of going about it. Obviously it requires a bit more work because I have to make the solutions and stuff, but I think that's fine. Yeah, just now we have a random starting position. Let's see what happens if we do put you here. Yeah, now that does get filled in, but I think there was only one sound effect. Yeah. That seems fine. Seems to be working. And the good thing now is that sometimes if you get a starting position like this, that might become a bit like a red herring. Where they might try to solve it this way and then be like, oh, that doesn't work. And now they have to like rethink how to do it. Oh, that was weird. Oh. Since this one is still part of the same route... Oh shit, no. Yeah, that's a bit odd. You see how this stays filled in? Which is it's still part of the correct path here. That is a little bit odd. Shit, I didn't think about that. But it would also be weird to start from the beginning every single time you make a change. I guess what you could have done is to actually have a separate button to turn on the water, basically a try the solution button. I don't know if I want that though, because then I could turn everything off. But kinda the main reason why I made this was so that you would get kind of immediate feedback on how this stuff connects. So is this a pump? Has there been a discussion about water flowing up that? Yeah, so this would be a from like a water pump. So it's not like... it's not just like gravitational flow or whatever. Yeah. I do need to make it more obvious that you've succeeded, maybe by having some extra sound effect when you do this, and maybe making it so that you can't turn these again. So that you get clear feedback that like, boom, you did it. Because right now... I don't know, it feels like we lack the oomph at the end, like bam, you did it. Would it be kinda cool if you had a reason to come and turn the water off again? Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Strom_CL challenges the community to a marble race.
Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another marble race. First one of the day. Strom, do you have a preferred map? Marvis indeed.
Cheers.
Project Unfarmed, good to see you, man. Cheers. Stretch as well, let's do it.
Time to stretch.
Daily point sync, let's go. We do need to, at some point, go back and polish this game up a little bit as well. It would be fun to add a random level picture. Gigaplinko, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, exclamation mark, join, if you want to have some marbles. So I'm lagging in, no worries, man. And let's also start the prediction like always. Whether or not you think that Strom, the challenger, will win. You have 2 minutes to gamble away all of your life earnings in the form of channel points. So feel free to do so right now. Getting a lot of marbles coming in here. Currently getting 5 marbles per default viewer and 10 marbles for subscribers. Currently we have 600 points for Strom winning, 2,500 against Strom. With about 75% of the time left in the prediction. So this is going to be in the Giga Plinko, which is just straight up 6 Plinko sections in a row, finishing it off with the little diamond section, and then we have the goal. 766 points for the challenger winning, 2,510 points against the challenger. 50 seconds left in the prediction. If you want to gamble some points, go ahead and do so now. If anyone else wants to join the race, then make sure to type !join to enter. Holy shit, we're getting more points. Almost 10,000 points on the challenger. Still only 2,500 against the challenger. The odds do not make sense, but we'll take it. Actually, we have more believers than we have non-believers. People are believing today, holy shit. A few seconds left in the prediction, 10,000 points versus 4,500. Feeling fast today, let's do this. First I tapped 1,000 and it took 100, then I tapped 900 and it took 9k, holy shit. T-Bag is going a bit crazy here today. Maybe unwillingly, but whoops. If anyone else wants to join the race, type !join in the chat, otherwise we're gonna be starting in about 10 seconds. The odds never made sense over here. They rarely do, to be honest. It's very rare that the odds made sense in terms of like the chance of the challenger winning. Into the first Plinko section, we have T-Bag getting a good start there. But another T-Bag again. First into the second Plinko section. But there are a lot of other marbles in play, but overall, T-Bag Beercan doing fucking amazingly. First one into the third section. Is he the first out though? He's not, because we have Wakacha taking the lead into the fourth Plinko section. T-Bag and Wakacha battling it out here. But Wakacha is the first one out into the fifth section, taking a very good route, but does get overtaken by T-Bag first into the last Plinko section. Can he do it? It remains to be seen. Strom, the challenger, nowhere to be seen. David actually taking the lead. Oh my god, that is so close. David manages to secure first place. Aileton in second place, T-Bag third, Wakacha fourth, Great Grievance 5, Luasoft 6, Aileton both 7 and 8, Fuzzlings number 9, Luasoft 10, which unfortunately does mean that Strom, the challenger, did not even make it in the top 10. Who's struggling the most so far? We have C-Stron, Wakacha and David still stuck in the last Plinko section here. Suave, thank you very much for the follow. C-Stron is going to be our second winner, aka last place. With that, all of the marbles have reached the finish line. So we're going to end the prediction. Unfortunately, that does mean that the 10,000 points from the believers will be split among the non-believers. With that, we are going to end the prediction. Thanks for playing, guys. Oh, how do I join? We have a channel point redeem that you can do to play the game. It might be on cooldown now. I think I have a little cooldown on it. And whenever we do it, all you have to do is type !join in the chat to get some marbles. I had so high hopes that I cleaned my keyboard, I guess, before the next marble game. Holy, I'm not even in the top 25. Ouch. Wicked, I predicted my win. GG. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Oh yeah, you can make a loop around here as well. It's a little bit odd that it stops prematurely. Like, if I start here, and then now it stops flowing every time I start moving another one. Which is a little bit odd. We'll see whether I end up carrying enough to actually fix it though. Something I feel like I do need to fix is this. The fact that if I now turn this one down, these two pipes get emptied, but this one stays full. That is a little bit odd. I think I could do that fairly simply, because I add the pipes as we calculate through. I could go down the list and check. If there's ever a cutoff where one isn't filled, then we automatically unfill all the following ones as well. Wouldn't be too difficult. You booted the gamedev redeem? No, I still have it. I have a lot of them turned off now because I had so much work to do for the demo release that I needed to be able to focus on the game. So then we only kept the marble one, since that one is fairly quick. But they will get turned on again.
Focus.
I'm mad focus, man. Didn't think I'd get this high in the rankings. Well done, everyone. You know, I'm rooting for Shroud, but if it doesn't work out, I bet you could add some RPG, progression mechanics, leaderboards, and other social integrations to your marble game and sell it to the communities and creators. There definitely is an audience for it. The only issue is the fact that I would be very much directly competing with a game like Marbles on Stream, which is a way better version of this game in full 3D, already positive ratings, and this one is free to play. I think it would be fairly difficult to compete against this game. Which is basically what I would be doing. Kinda crazy that this one is completely free to play, to be honest. Oh, that's where you go a different direction, make it RPG where players level up their marbles. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, if we would have like a twist to it, it certainly could work. Okay, so to make this puzzle functional, I need a way to actually check if it's solved. That's going to be very easy, since I already have the final pipe. We just check if that one gets filled. Maybe a little bit more polishing. And we're pretty much good to go. Maybe make a few more levels as well for some variety. not that replayability is going to be my highest priority, but I do think it would be... It's fun to make stuff a little bit more replayable, at least. Yeah, now that one does get filled. I think I prefer that. Would be nice if the connected valves would both light up to reinforce that changing one the other would change as well. Took me a second to understand the red part. Made me think blocked pipe, not connected valve. Yeah, I think you're right. It should be nice to have some... Maybe what you could do is even... Rather than doing anything with the valves, you could highlight the connection. Like imagine that basically the red line between them gets like highlighted as well when you change it. That could be another way of doing it. But still give that like little bit of extra feedback to make sure that it's as intuitive as possible. Like what the function of these are. Yeah, it would be fairly simple as well. Each valve would just have a reference to an array of connection lines. And then you just quickly light those up. So basically, I would have to make it a separate game object. But you know, you could just do something like this. Maybe that's not strong enough, but... You know, make that one light up a little bit stronger. Maybe I need to make the other ones darker in that case. Make sure that the difference is a little bit more easy to see. So just like for a second, we highlight this one when you turn it. Could be another way of doing it. Felt the same way with an overlay project I was working on. Once I saw a bro minion, I was like, oh yeah, never competing with that. Yeah, it is the difficult thing with this kind of stuff. When there's like... Because I think in the terms of like specifically Twitch marble games, like this is such a clear example of it that like... I think it kind of goes as Greven said, like if I would have to compete with something like this, I need to make sure that my game would stand out enough. It would, because right now, I think it's fair to say that my marble game is just a shittier copy of this game. Like that's basically what it is, right? Like that's the reason why we even named the game Yet Another Marble Game, because I'm not doing anything unique about it. So you would have to, it feels like you would have to at least stand out some way. It's gonna be interesting doing more playtesting on these puzzles as well. Being able to see like how long it takes people to solve them. Right now, I am afraid that these are, generally speaking, going to be a little bit too simple. But I'm not sure, I haven't done enough testing yet. That's like my daily life, that would be a cool project. Oh, someone made one already. I would go for 2D, pixel art, road light, traps, level ups, leaderboards, live server features, streamers hosted games, plays by skins. Could work. We're doing it in Unity. I've struggled during a transparent overlay setup. Mine is more, that would be a cool project if I knew how to do it, yeah. Another one if I had the time to do it. This month's free assets on Fab had an amazing skybox. So good looking that I might change my whole map to fit it, damn. Okay, let me just take a short break here. I'll be back in just a minute or so. A minute or two. Thank you very much for your patience, as always. Cheers. And we are back. Appreciate your patience. Link the pitch on Discord, let me check it out. Now, we got a lot of new members in the Discord today. Cheers, guys. If anyone else wants to join, feel free to do so here. Let me see, gamedev. So I want to use this skybox in my game. Ooh, that does look pretty cool. Unlurk, welcome back from the lurk, Lupo. Thank you for lurking, Leighton. Is animated. Nice. It looks dope. But you said you have to change your entire level or something? Isn't the skybox generally just like a... I have no idea. I don't do 3D. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I should just shut up. Unity 6 is using transparent overlay. Took some messing around to get it to work with OBS. Just checked out Brominion, it definitely looks solid, but I actually think that's well within reach for an indie with a small budget. Oh yeah, to be fair, Brominion is from an indie developer. It's Hylorism, another streamer here on Twitch who's making it. I do think I don't know how long he's been working on it actually. But I think he's doing pretty much everything himself. I know he's doing both the development as well as the art at the very least. Green screen works fine, but my overlay for stream is 2D and it loses some colors. Yeah, my current map is kinda in the dark dead space, so the sky does not fit it. Oh, I see, I see. Couldn't you do something with the sky to kinda make it fit otherwise? Well, I'm off to sports and beers. Have a nice evening and great weekend. You as well, Teabag. Have a good one, mate, and thank you for dropping by. Okay, how are we feeling about this, people? I am actually feeling pretty good about this. Obviously, there are some more tweaks that we're gonna need to do, but overall, feels like it could be a little fun puzzle to have. Just need to make some more variations so we can have some randomness. I do think I'm gonna do those off stream though, so that I don't spoil every one of those puzzles for you guys. Just for fun. Pons, welcome in, man. How you doing? But in that case, I am gonna need to set something up so that we can differentiate levels. So I think I might make like a serializable level class or something. With basically these references to like the water pipes, the valve parent, and the entry valve of that specific level. And then we just randomize which one to enable. And we might have to do the actual background stuff as well, or rather the base of the valve here. Because I might... To make this one only have one solution, I had to cut it off here. Because otherwise you could have turned this one right and still solved the puzzle. So it's possible that I'm gonna need different bases for different puzzles here. My map has a dark sky. When the sky is so bright and detailed, it would stick too much. I think about your game and adding a cute blue sky to it. Yeah, I do see what you mean. But I wonder if, like, rather than changing the game, unless you want to do that, of course, like the level, like if there's something you can do with the skybox to make it fit, basically. However, should we do a little bit of play today as well? I think we're gonna call it here with the development and boot up a little bit of Grim Fandango. I can't play it for too long, but we'll see if we can get some extra progress. Holy shit, I've already played this for 9 hours. That's pretty mad. Should I stop the recording here though? I might actually do that so I can get separate VODs on YouTube. Sure, let's do that. So if you're watching this on YouTube, cheers.